Well, hi everybody.
Yeah.
The second before he's like,
I think that might have been in the camera.
it probably was.
Yeah.
Because I think I did a video earlier today, and I think it was back then.
Jen's little mechanical bicycle over.
It's my stationary bike.
Stationary
but I
bicycle.
mean, I don't really give a crap if it's back there. So.
Just look funny in front of that shit. Okay.
We usually pull it over there, like for the show, because that serves the dual purpose of getting it off the camera and also keeping Pookie from tearing the books up. On the bookshelf. Although I guess if she's really determined, she would.
And I got Dennis Rader over here. He's in the very corner of the screen, just to that way I know the fucking screen is pointed the right way because I'm looking at the monitor right here.
Looking at little BTK back there with his big bobblehead.
Yeah.
We should put H.H. Holmes in the shot too.
Where is he?
He's up there on top of the books.
Oh yeah.
I kind of see him. Yeah.
You won't be able to see him.
I have an H.H. Holmes one too.
Yeah. You won't be able to see him.
Yes, he said, "Why did Tom look like he was dry humping the wall?" Huh? He was just moving my exercise bike.
Yeah.
Which was in the way. Has all my little jackets hanging on it.
All right, today
I get cold in here.
Today is Friday. It's Open Lines Friday, basically. Anything you guys want to talk about, you just drop it in the damn comment section. Any cases that we did in the past, any kind of current topics, just anything. Ask any kind of question.
Well, within reason.
Within reason. And we'll talk about it. If not, we're just going to sit here and we're going to escort you. We're escorts right now, professional escorts. We're going to escort you into the weekend after your fucking hard work week.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And then tomorrow we're going to the club.
Yes, we are.
Yep.
I mean, hopefully, it'll be all right. We can go.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
We can go. I'm trying not to get as shit-faced as I got last time. Although it was fun getting that shit-faced. The problem with being shit-faced, it's not so much that I feel crappy the next day, because I don't feel too bad the next day. It's always like the next time it's like, wow, I had fun, but I don't really remember like a lot of what happened. You know what I mean? I just have a general feeling that I had a good time.
Yeah.
But you don't remember like all this, because I had conversations with people and stuff, and Tom's like, yeah, we said this and that. I'm like, yeah, I don't remember that.
There have been times where I don't remember the drive home.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm like, wait a minute,
probably not great.
Yeah. I know that we went to McDonald's on the way back because there'd be fucking French fries on her side of the car. She dropped French fries there. We're fucking.
Well, look, hey, it's dark in the car.
Yeah.
And I always have all the stuff in my lap.
Yeah.
Now, that wasn't me because I didn't open any ketchup. Okay?
That was a couple weeks back.
I don't even think they gave us any ketchup.
I'm not asking for ketchup anymore because every time I get ketchup, fucking I end up finding ketchup all in the car. And I got to clean all the fucking
Sometimes they give you ketchup without asking, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
I don't really care either way. I mean, their French fries are good with or without ketchup. I do like ketchup, but like I said, in the car, it's kind of a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? So it's like, but like I said, it's dark in there, and I usually try to eat over the bag, but somehow, French fries still end up in the darndest places.
Yeah. In the back seat. I mean, how the fuck did French fries
I don't know how that happened.
Because they fell down through the side. And fucking,
they must have. Because it's like, I wasn't in the back seat.
Yeah. I found them in the back seat.
A couple times I was, but I didn't have any French fries back there.
Back seat in the floor.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
I gotta go through there.
I mean, I'm sober enough to remember going to McDonald's and like what I ordered.
Yeah.
The last few times we've been, like, I'll get the meal or whatever, and I can't finish it. I used to be able to finish all of it, and I can't finish it anymore. So it's like a lot of times I'll get like a quarter pounder, not a double quarter pounder. I can't eat that shit. But it's like I'll get a single one, and it's like, and I can only eat like half of it.
Yeah.
So then I'll just stuff it back in the bag, and then I'll heat it up in the microwave the next day. Because I don't want to waste it. You know what I mean? Shit's not cheap anymore.
Look, I found out something. You guys may be interested to know this. If you have leftover fucking French fries and they're cold, you can take them home and put them in the air fryer.
You put them in the air fryer.
And they're just like brand new.
I think most people know.
Yeah, they're like brand
That's how
new.
you revive McDonald's. Because McDonald's French fries are delicious, but there's a very small window.
Yeah, once they get cold,
they're delicious. Once they get room temperature, they're not good.
And microwaving doesn't work. I mean,
it just makes them kind of soggy. Although
air fryer.
Maybe this is a controversial statement. I kind of like soggy French fries.
Nah.
It depends on what kind they are. I always really liked those big, fat, like plank kind of French fries.
I know what you're talking about.
Like a long time ago, and this is showing my age here.
Country fries.
Like KFC, I haven't been to KFC in a million years, so I don't know what kind of French fries, if any, they have anymore. But back in the day, KFC used to have this big plank French fries, and they were really good. But I don't know. Does KFC even have French fries?
Oh, we got all kinds of money.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. Titanic Discussions gave us a super chat.
Titanic Discussion. That's
Greetings,
a new one.
Everyone. That's
a
really
new
good
name.
No, it's not.
That.
No,
yeah.
it's not.
Okay.
They've been here before.
All right. What do you say?
Greetings, everyone. Tom and Jenny, did you folks see the new Titan submersible? Doc, love to hear you take on Stockton Rush. Have a great night, and thanks for the channel. Was that the dude that made the submersible and like it imploded or something?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he's talking about.
I mean, that sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah.
Like I remember like hearing stuff about that, but it's like I will definitely have to watch that. Like I said, we don't have. If it's on, is it on Netflix?
We don't have Netflix.
We don't have Netflix anymore. I might, like I said, I might turn it back on for like a month to watch some shit that I want to watch when I know that it's on there. But I haven't really missed it, to be honest.
We didn't watch it enough.
We didn't watch it enough. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, if we're gonna watch streaming anything, it's almost always Prime or
Tubi
or Max.
Yeah.
And Max I get through my phone plan.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good shows and shit like that on there. Prime, we like I said, last few days we just got into. I don't think Tammy's here, but we just got into fucking. This shows how on top of shit we are. We just got into Farscape.
That's what I was gonna say.
From fucking 1999 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like I said, I used to see commercials for it all the time when I watched MST on Sci-Fi back in the old days, and I'm like I said, I'm not a big sci-fi girl, so I was just kind of like, oh, that looks kind of fun, but I never really got around to watching it. But then Tom was just kind of like, oh, I saw a few episodes and it's really good. And then we saw that Prime had all of it on there, like for free, and I was just kind of like, why not?
And the seasons are long; they're like 20 episodes per season.
Yeah, and we started watching it. I got like super into it.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good.
It's epic. We're gonna do a review of it.
It's really good. Like we watched a couple episodes last night, and I know Tammy would know the one we're talking about. I can't remember the title of it, but the one where the whole crew, they were confronted with the two aliens in the ship. What were they called? Hollandarians or something like that. They look kind of like the Skeksis from the Dark Crystal,
kind of like
which is it's the Henson, studios.
They look like rotten vultures.
Yeah, they were really cool looking, and they like shot at their ship, which is called the Moya, and something with their defense shield or something made everybody, like all the crew in there, like made them all switch bodies.
Yeah, their souls switched.
And that was the funniest fucking shit ever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so funny.
Yeah.
That was like one of the most hilarious.
Yeah, you really kind of have to know the characters first to really make that funny. What I do like about this, I had seen a few of the episodes and I really liked them. But then other things happened and I wasn't able to watch it. I think it was on Sci-Fi Channel. It was one of their series. And I was seeing it in a day before HD television, And it looked pretty good. But you see it now, it looks fucking awesome, man. The CG has held up.
It really holds up.
The costumes are really good. Really high quality costumes. They're goth as fuck. There's like goth dominatrix aliens and shit in there. The writing is really good.
And of course, the puppetry is amazing.
The puppets and the ships
it's
and shit.
Henson.
Yeah,
it's Brian Henson.
A lot of really good practical effects. But I think what really shines is the writing, the acting, and the characters.
The characters are just all so.
Yeah, it's really
delightful.
Good storytelling. It's like Star Trek, but it's happening on a prison ship between convicts that have escaped, and they're on the run, and there's a NASA pilot. He ends up going through a wormhole and gets caught up with him. So there's one human on it, John Crichton.
Yeah,
and he's kind of like he starts off kind of like a goofball, but once he gets acclimated to what's happening in this part of the universe, he kind of becomes a badass. He starts to become kind of like Kirk. And he's on a ship with like 3 alien females. They're all a different species. They all like him and shit. One of them is like his main fucking girl. He's not really sleeping with her, but there's all kinds of tension between that one. And then they got like the hot young chick who's like a juvenile delinquent. She shows up. She was a criminal from her planet. They were going to reprogram her. Chiana, right? Chiana was her name. Yeah, she's a good character. She's laying it on thick with him, and he's got this friend who's named Dargo, and he's an alien. I forget what do they call it?
Luxon. He's
a Luxon. Yeah,
he's got like tentacles.
Yeah, kind of like imagine Chewbacca with a bunch of tentacles, but he can talk, and he's like Worf. If you fucking kind of like
he's a little bit like Worf.
Yeah, kind of like crossbreed Worf and Chewbacca. That's his buddy. And there's a little bit of there's a lot of action, a lot of comedy, a lot of commentary, like on fucking suicide. Just every episode's kind of like a morality tale slightly, which I really like that shit. It's kind of like in the spirit of Star Trek. Overbearing fucking governments that are based on legalism. That was another one. It was a
planet. They ended up on this one planet called Litigaria.
Yeah, Litigaria. It was nothing but just
it was 90% lawyers.
It's ruled by lawyers. What assholes they were. It's a total asshole.
It was like super funny.
It's an asshole fact.
Like it was bad. Like it was a bad thing that happened. Like it was a pretty dire situation.
Yeah,
but, like, the idea of it was funny.
Yeah, and that episode is about a murder trial. One of the crew, Zan. She's this blue chick who's actually a plant. You find out later she's
she's a person, but she's plant based.
She's plant based, yeah. And the actress playing her is the hot chick from fucking Mad Max. She was the one with the long hair that
Virginia Hay.
Is that she's an Australian actress. Yeah, she's in it, showing cleavage and shit. And she's blue in this, blue and bald.
She looks cool as shit.
She looks real cool, yeah. And then
she's very zen. She's kind of
she's a priestess.
She's like a priestess.
Priestess that committed a crime. She murdered her boyfriend.
Yeah, but I mean, not in a like a. Oh, I was gonna say not in a shitty way, but
he kind of deserved it. Didn't he
kind of had it coming.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's what I mean. Like, all of the criminals on the ship, they are technically all criminals.
Yeah.
But the shit they did generally wasn't really that bad, like from a normal person standpoint.
Yeah, and the
like, ship, or it was justified.
And the ship that they're on is alive. It's named Moya. And
it's like a living organism.
Yeah, and it's got and joined with it is another alien named Pilot, and he just communicates with it and kind of helps control the ship. And they can live for like 1,000 years, but they can only live for like 300 when they're joined with the ship. He's another character, and it's a puppet, but man, it looks fucking good.
All the puppets in this look really good.
They look real, yeah. And they got this little fucking dude who was a king who got deposed by his cousin, and he's what's his
an emperor, or he's a dominar.
Dominar, yeah, which is like an emperor. He's about that big.
Yeah,
and he's on this little floating palace.
He's got like a little floating
fucking can't stop
throne.
Eating. Yeah, he's a good character. He's an asshole, but he's fucking funny.
And he farts helium.
Yeah, farts helium and fucking nasty. And thinks he's better than everybody else. He is intelligent. He helps out.
He's kind of a shithead, though.
He's a shithead. And he's kind of lovable in a certain way.
But he's a funny character.
He just kind of only cares about himself. He's trying to get the fuck out of there so he can get his throne back.
And he steals all their shit.
Yeah, steals their shit and just laughs about it. Eats all their food. Yeah. Can't wear shoes. He's just got little feet. His feet like little hands. He's
kind of like I said, it's a good puppet.
He's about the size of Yoda.
Yeah, he's like Yoda size.
Yeah. But it's free on Amazon.
Amazon Prime. I think they have all 4 seasons.
All 4 seasons. We
just started the 2nd season.
Yeah. It gets
like
better and better.
The seasons are long. Like the first season, we're like, holy shit, we're still in the first season. It was like 22 episodes.
20-something episodes.
And then finally we started the second one. And yeah, they just get like better. Like as you get like more into the characters.
Yeah.
Like it gets a lot better.
Each episode can be seen as a standalone. But there's story progression.
There is stuff that carries over.
Yeah,
like one of the ones
refer back to other shit.
Like the one that where they went to the Law Planet. That was actually a flashback from the end of season 1.
Yeah.
Like you could watch it on its own without knowing that, but it's better
to watch it from the
watch it from the beginning. Some of the episodes are pretty standalone, but like some of them do have things that like continue on, especially after Moya, their ship, has a baby.
Yeah.
And then that becomes like a whole.
It gives birth to another ship.
Yeah, gives birth to another ship.
Yeah, they're biomechanoid ships, kind of like something out of Giger, but they're not quite as dark looking. You know, they're weird looking, but they're not as sinister and sexual looking like Giger's fucking biomechanoid ships. But I'm really fucking getting into just the storytelling and the writing. You know, it's kind of a breath of fresh air because there isn't a lot of good sci-fi storytelling anymore. Like the writing is shit. They don't hire good writers. This is definitely we're only like a little bit into the second season, and you can tell that this bitch was written with love, kind of like Star Trek was. You know, the people who was writing it cared about this story.
There's a reason that this has like a huge cult following. So
yeah, I didn't know it had a cult following. It's funny. I just saw it and I went, "Oh yeah, I remember that. Things are good." I think I saw 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah,
and I was like, every one I watched, I was like, "Man, this is great. I wish I could watch it all." But that was back in the time of television.
Yeah,
you couldn't see it on command.
Well, they're like, "Well, tough shit.
You missed some shit." Yeah, well,
like I said. But like I said, I think that's really cool. I know, like, so old people like me generally like to piss and moan about, oh, things were better back in my day, blah, blah, blah. Fuck that. No, they weren't.
Yeah, there was no view on demand.
Nah. It's like I can watch literally almost anything I want to watch, like, right now.
Yeah.
I might have to pay a couple bucks or go on the high seas, as they say,
to
see it. But, you know, when the fuck could... I think about this a lot. When I was a kid, and I read, you know that Stephen King book, the nonfiction one that he did called Dance Macabre?
Yeah.
And he was talking about horror, like from the 50s to the 80s, because I think the book came out in 1980 or 1981 or whatever. And the hilarious thing was he was talking about all of these old shows like Kolchak and Thriller and stuff like that, and he had to talk about them all from memory, because you couldn't see them.
Couldn't see them again, yeah.
He wrote it in 1981.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't even really... Because he even said in there, like, he made some kind of comment. He's like, hey, if anybody does a run of whatever this show is, it's like, fire up the old Betamax and, like, send me some. You know what I mean? Because it's like he had to...
Yeah, had to do it from
memory. So he did
did
actually get some shit wrong. So I don't know, because I had an old edition, so I don't know if he's actually updated it from then. Because now you can see all that crap. Like, you can see whatever you want. So it's just kind of funny that he had to, like, think about it from... he had to write about it from memory.
But so far, I highly recommend this series. If you guys haven't seen it, see it. If you saw it back when it came out and haven't seen it again, check it out in HD. It's fucking...
It's so
really
fun.
Good. Yeah, it's
so
fun episode. Fun episode. We'll watch fucking... We can sit back and watch 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, we'll just like sit there and like get some snacks.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll just like watch like 4 episodes.
Yeah, and I like it because there's sex and drugs in them. There's nudity. There's fucking a lot of swearing, but it's alien swearing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they have like different words for everything.
They have different words for fuck. They say frill instead of
frill. Yeah,
frill. Yeah, no, but you know what they're talking about.
Or what do they say instead of balls? Mivonks.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like they do all kinds of alien swearing, and they explain, you know, how they can all understand each other through language. When John shows up, he's on the ship. He can't understand what anybody's saying. And these little biomechanoid robots come up and fucking inject him into his foot. And then a few minutes later, he can slowly start to understand them. They put some, like, symbiotes in there, little living creatures into him that help translate what you hear. And then eventually you can understand what other people say.
So it's like having Google Translate in your head.
Yeah, kind of weird. Like in live translation.
Yeah.
And... It was funny to hear on certain episodes. You're able to hear what the characters actually sound like, and like his girlfriend, who's that peacekeeper soldier chick. When she speaks, it sounds like she's talking backwards.
Yeah, it was really cool.
What her language sounds like, yeah.
Because that was the first time. You know, because you just, by the time you meet her,
he can already
he already has the microbes or whatever, or the nanotechnology, so he can understand what everyone's saying, so everyone seems like they're speaking English, at least to his perspective.
Yeah.
But then, one episode, like, he goes back to Earth, and it's this whole thing, and you get to hear them from someone else's perspective, like, what they sound like.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool how they did that, like, and she sounded really cool. Like, like I said, she sounded like she was talking backwards, kind of.
Yeah. And it's funny because he uses all kinds of earth phrases and expressions, and they just go like, "Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about, but okay."
What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah, he makes like references.
He makes
to like
references
a bunch of Earth like entertainment, like the Three Stooges. And,
they're like
whatever.
What? Yeah, sometimes they blow them off.
Who's that?
There's this one episode where some aliens from another dimension send a probe out, and they see him. They've never seen a human being. They've seen human-like creatures, but not a human being. Like his girlfriend, she looks like a human, but she's not. She's a
Sebacean.
She's a Sebacean.
Who are similar to humans, but not the same.
Yeah. Well, it sees him and fucking tries to get him, but she shoots the little disc ball,
little probe,
and it fucks up. He gets taken in there, but when he comes back out, but then a caveman version of him comes out, and then
like a Brainiac.
A fucking highly evolved version of him comes out. So there's 3 of them. That was a whole adventure.
Who ended up being a huge dick.
Yeah. What's funny is Crichton's Southern. He's from the South of the United States, and when the highly evolved version of him came out, he sounded like an old-fashioned Southern aristocrat. His accent actually got stronger.
Yeah.
He was extremely intelligent though, but you couldn't trust him because he really he saw the other 2 versions of himself basically as apes.
As inferior.
As inferior apes, yeah. It's weird. But I gotta go to the restroom. Hold on.
Let's see. Oh, they're talking about McDonald's. Oh, CB said, isn't Farscape what gave them the idea for the movie Pitch Black from 2000? I'm not entirely sure. I've seen Pitch Black, but I don't even have the slightest inkling what happened in it. That's how much of an impression it made. I think we have it. I feel like I bought some all Pitch Black and what was the other fucking movie? I'll think of it in a minute. That was all part of that series. I thought I bought it for him, but it's I know we watched them, and it's just I don't really remember what happened in them though. Like I said, I'm kind of more... I like sci-fi. I like some sci-fi, but if I'm going to watch sci-fi, I prefer, sci-fi horror. And even then, it's not really... It's way down on my list of, horror subgenres that I like. So it's unless somebody tells me that, oh my god, this is really awesome and you have to see this, I generally don't, flock to them. You know what I mean? But that's why I was so surprised by how much I ended up liking Farscape, because I was normally I wouldn't get, I said, I love the original Star Trek. I loved Firefly, which this kind of, it's not the same, but it kind of reminded me, it was kind of a similar vibe to it. So I think that's why, because it's kind of like Star Trek, but it's not, they're not all military. They're not all. Yeah. I mean, it's not military exactly, but you know what I mean. They're not all part of the Federation or whatever. These are just a bunch of a ragtag bunch of.
The Federation was military.
Yeah, basically. But you know what I mean. But this is just a ragtag bunch of criminals who essentially stole this ship.
Yeah.
And are just trying to keep away from this Farscape's version of the Empire, which is called the Peacekeepers, who are these huge assholes.
They're actually more like mercenaries. They don't run things. People hire them as security and enforcers and stuff. So they're kind of like the Empire, but they're for hire.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that.
Yeah, almost like the Mandalorians, kind of.
Yeah. But it's and it's kind of cool that it's there's all these everyone is a different species, because they all were captive aboard this ship, and then the few of them got together and said, fuck this, we're just Shanghaiing this shit. Yeah. And so they all just kind of ended up together, and they're all super different, and it's really fun.
In Star Trek stories, because it's taking place from the viewpoint of the Federation, everything kind of has a rank structure and order and mission statement, which kind of in some ways made Star Trek predictable. This is not like that. You don't know what's going to happen in each episode, because they're all criminals basically and misfits. So there isn't a set way to do anything. Yeah, they just make shit up.
They're just winging it.
And then some people don't cooperate and say fuck it, and they try to run and escape on their own. They're not real tightly bound yet, although they're getting a little tighter.
They're getting where they're all friends now, but they still have a lot of, like I said, they're very different species. So
when it started, they didn't trust each other, and they would try to fuck each other over.
Yeah.
At different times, when some of them were kind of fair weather friends. When shit got too hard, they try to run.
Yeah.
And they steal a ship and leave on their own type of deal. But they're getting a little bit better. And some of the crew are now sleeping with each other by season 2.
Yeah.
Or it's so
or it's kind of going in that direction.
Yeah.
Because that's why I kind of laughed at that episode where they all switched bodies.
Yeah.
Because Crichton, the human character, there's been like a lot of sexual on-off will they won't they tension with Erin Soon, who is the Sebastian.
She's the ex-peacekeeper.
Who is an ex-peacekeeper.
Yeah.
And
she got contaminated. She was hanging out with non-peacekeepers.
And they basically kicked her out.
Yeah, they kicked her out.
So it's like she didn't really have much choice, and she's like hanging with them now. So she's had a hard time.
She's also a wanted criminal.
And she's also a wanted criminal.
Yeah.
Too. So it's just kind of like, so the two of them have had all this sexual tension and stuff. And then when they had this encounter with these Skeksis like aliens, and all their bodies got switched, Crichton was switched into her body at one point.
Yeah.
And I said, at some stage
he's going to do some shit with that
And
body.
I love that they did exactly, I was just like...
I saw that was going to happen.
I know.
They found him, he was abusing the shit out of herself.
He's just like...
shaking her
titties. He's by himself, like, and he's like looking to see if anybody takes his shirt off, and he's like shaking his titties.
Yeah, fucking rubbing himself.
Wow, awesome.
This is awesome. And then he gets caught. They catch him. She catches him. She's in another body. She's like, what the fuck? And he's like, oh, come on, this is every man's fantasy. I'm a guy. This is every man's fantasy. We've always wanted to know what this was like,
And I was like, yep, that's exactly what a dude would do. The funniest thing to me was that I love that because all of them got switched and they were confused. So they printed out little pictures of themselves and like hung them on the person of
who the identity
was. So it's like no one would get confused. I thought that was so funny.
Well, that also helped the audience know who it was that was talking because they've all switched bodies.
Because they switched bodies like a couple of times.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wait, who is this now?
So in this one, man, one of the things I like about it is it took a lot of the ideas from the fucking tonally. It kind of took some of the ideas that came from the Flash Gordon movie, the Dino De Laurentiis Flash Gordon movie, which is a space adventure movie, but it had a sexual element to it. You know what I mean? And there was criminality and people getting high, and there's drugs in this. There's drug humor.
It's very sexual,
real sexual.
Like Zan, the plant lady, the priestess, she straight up has orgasms whenever there's a lot of light or whatever, like if they go through a sunburst or something like that.
Yeah, pulsars and shit.
And everyone's just kind of like
supernovas and shit.
And she's just laying there like completely useless.
Yeah. Well, there's a place on the ship they can go outside.
Yeah.
And see the stars. Like this is a force field holding the space back, I guess. Wasn't that? Didn't she go out on that deck?
Yeah. I think there's a cover over it.
There's a cover
because obviously you can't just go out.
So she was up there nude star bathing and shit.
Yeah, when they were getting
off on the damn pulsars and shit.
When they were going through like a it wasn't a pulsar. It was like a
supernovas,
like a sunspot or supernova or something like that. And like they went through a stage of it, and she was just like all about it. They couldn't get her to do anything because she was just too busy like getting off the whole time. It was super funny. Well, like I said, I like that they spend a lot of time, because I guess they solved this problem on Star Trek by basically saying, oh, we have a replicator, and like that's where all the food comes from. But on this one, it's like they have a couple of episodes where it's like there's like, hey, we're running out of food, we have to like find some planet, or we have to find some place where we can get some food, or we're all gonna starve to death. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they have to like stock up. And I also like, this is like probably a small detail.
The clothes.
But yeah, you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Because in a lot of sci-fi, maybe not so much anymore, but in a lot of sci-fi, everybody would wear the same costume all the time, which is not realistic because people change their clothes every day, right? So I like that in this one, they actually address that. Like everybody has different outfits. Like some of them are like similar, obviously, because that's their style or whatever. Yeah. But it's like they do actually change their clothes every day.
Yeah.
They address like how they brush their teeth.
Yeah.
Which is pretty gross.
They use a big ass maggot.
It's like a big ass maggot. It's like a remora, but kind of it's like a big maggot, and it like eats all the shit off your teeth. And a dentic, I think it's called. Like it's a big ass maggot. And, sometimes they run out of food, and it's like, shit, we have to, like, find some place where we can get some food, and then they get in all kind of scrapes, like, trying to get food from somewhere. And it's like, so, I like that they address kind of, like, day-to-day life.
Day-to-day life, yeah. They do.
Issues, because they don't do that in a lot of sci-fi.
They change clothes. They have different clothes. They're all of similar style. It's also kind of practical clothing. And the footwear, a lot of times, Aaron Sung's footwear is New Rock boots, like mine. But they're from the 90s.
Yeah.
They're from the 90s.
Tom noticed that.
I was like, she's wearing New Rocks. Yeah. And that was a pretty much off-the-rack New Rock boot that she was wearing. And they'd be hard to find now because they don't make that model anymore. But they were not just black leather buckles on them and shit. And they do look military. But they also look like a woman's shoe. They're kind of slightly high-heeled and stuff. They're pretty good. I love New Rock boots. But, and then the only thing that was kind of fucking driving me crazy with her costume is that she was wearing a U.S. GI Vietnam era web belt, and there were 2 M16 ammo pouches on it. And it's on the back, even with the damn grenade pouches on either side. And it didn't even spray paint it. It looked like it was a regular green cover. I didn't see U.S. printed on it, but they're trying to pass it off as alien equipment. But to me, you know what I mean? I wore that before, and I'm like, man, that is a fucking M16 pouches.
But it could be that it was just convergent evolution, like another society that is very human-like. I would came upon the same.
I would have cut the grenade pouches off, so you just have the central things, and spray painted them black and put them on that belt, and that would have been. And then
you wouldn't have noticed it.
Most
people wouldn't have noticed it, but you noticed.
I noticed it, yeah, because the grenade pouches were. But I've done that. I've cut grenade pouches off my own because I have a bunch of those different battle belt setups and shit that I have. But she had them on the back, and they don't really say what they're for because they're empty. They don't have magazines in them. When they're loaded, they're heavy. They'd fucking fall down. That's why you wear suspenders. She's not wearing suspenders with it. But it looks good, I guess. But I would have changed those pouches. They were too recognizable. But she didn't seem to wear that anymore. That was just the first season.
Yeah. Maybe that was kind of like...
People might have pointed that out. Like, we know what that is. That's not alien.
I mean, maybe.
That's U.S. Army.
CB said, yeah, it's like the episode of Red Dwarf where the crew go to another reality where women are dominant. Lister fucks the female version of himself and gets pregnant.
Which one is what
Red Dwarf.
I haven't seen that one. I remember
Everybody has recommended that to me, and I still haven't got around to watching it yet. And CB said Babylon 5 was a fantastic sci-fi.
Yeah, that's
TV
on there
too.
too.
Yeah, everybody said it.
That's on there also.
Maybe, like I said, after it'll take us a while to get through all of Farscape, but because I've kind of got all invested in it now. So
yeah,
we got to see it through to the
I haven't
end.
seen Babylon 5. I saw a couple of the episodes, and it looked pretty good. But that was another one that you had to kind of catch at the beginning. Red Dwarf, I've heard about it, but I don't think I've seen it. And I want to see Firefly also.
Oh my God, Firefly is so good.
I saw the movie Serenity.
Yeah.
And it was pretty good.
Firefly, I got so fucking wrapped up in that. Holy crap. Like, somebody I used to work with recorded it for me. Like, and gave it to me. And I watched the whole thing, and man, I got really emotionally invested. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't seen it, but a major character, something bad happens to them, and it's like I was just inconsolable.
Yeah.
It really was terrible.
But the costumes on Farscape, the clothes that they're using are just they're fucking great. And then when you see it in HD and they close up, you go, man, it's really high quality. Some of that shit's real leather.
It looks real good. The show looks real good. Like I said, you wouldn't think. I guess we're season 2, so I guess that's 2000.
2001. Yeah, 2000.
2000 or 2001. And it's just kind of like, it looks better than some movies that I saw from that year. It for sure looks better than some horror movies I saw that came out in 2000 or 2001 with shitty CGI in it. I guess because a lot of it's puppets. There is CGI, obviously.
To me, it looked a lot better than Next Generation. Star Trek Next Generation.
But it's not super obvious. Like I said, it's mostly like puppets and practical effects, it seems like. So it looks like a lot better. It's just a really nice looking show. It's really
kind of colorful.
Yeah, it's aged really well. Yeah. Like, and I really like the art direction, like the whole production design, like on the inside of the ship, and like it looks really cool. It looks like a ship, but it also still kind of looks like a living organism.
So far the writing has just been fucking spot on. It's been a masterpiece.
I mean, don't tell me if it gets worse as time goes on, but it's like because I know that happens sometimes.
Sometimes that happens.
But I don't know. Like I said, I think it was they have 4 seasons on there, which I think was all there was, but. Yeah.
There's also a movie associated with this I want to see.
Yeah, like I think it was Tammy that told us. like Peacekeeper or something.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know about that. But like I said, I don't get as into sci-fi stuff, but
this one's good.
Oh shit! Papa says Farscape ends on a cliffhanger.
Does it? But they have a movie.
Shit.
Probably because they just lost the fucking.
Well, yeah, that happens a lot.
That
happens.
But there was a movie after it, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know if it addressed.
It doesn't address it right.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. They were talking about McDonald's earlier.
Yeah.
McDonald's, Camp Guy says, McDonald's actually tried to in-house all their production. Beef, potatoes, dairy, paper products. I don't know how much they were able to achieve. Yeah, I knew they had like their own farms and shit. Vertical integration, I think is what they call that. Camp Guy said, I have also heard that McDonald's even uses a proprietary fountain soda mixing system and their fountain soft drinks taste better than anywhere else. I have heard that also. I don't know if it's true.
Who?
McDonald's. My brother used to work there, but it was a long time ago. He told me that the reason that their French fries were so good, they get them frozen, like from corporate or whatever. He said, and I don't know if they still do this, but it's like they used to soak them like in a sugar water bath before they put them in the hot oil.
Yep.
And that was what made them taste so good. That's what he said.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's true.
That's a well-known trick.
Yeah.
You can either soak them in salt or soak them in sugar. They both do different things. I think if you soak it in salt, they're a little crispier, if I remember correctly. But it's been a long time since I fucked with it. But soaking them, yeah.
Here's the weird thing. If you eat, I don't know why this just occurred to me, but it's like if you eat a McDonald's quarter pounder, say, it doesn't really taste at all like a burger that you make at home.
No.
At all.
No.
Like it's
more
still
corporate.
Recognizably a burger, but it's got its own taste to it, and sometimes that's what you want. But like I said, it doesn't taste anything like a burger that we make at home.
McDonald's was engineered, basically from day one, with the priority towards consistency. Mm-hmm. And they knew exactly what they were doing.
Everything has to taste exactly the
same everywhere, all the time.
Every location.
Around the world. All the time, around the world, it will always taste the fucking same.
Yeah.
Okay. And
which is pretty crazy.
That was coming out of the 1960s. People talk a lot of shit about the boomers. Their parents, the greatest generation, they actually were really good at corporate stuff.
Yeah.
And they were really good at psychology. And they said if our basically they went from they were looking at it from this point of view. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter how good it actually tastes. What people are looking for is consistency.
Yeah, they want to make sure if I order this, I want to know exactly
what it's going to taste like all the fucking time. And they knew that people would become kind of addicted to the consistency of going back to that same experience over and over again, where they're in a life and where there's a fucking unpredictability and random shit.
Yeah.
But they can trust on the McDonald's hamburger to be the same. So it was kind of like to give them feelings of stability. Yeah. They knew exactly what they were doing. Yeah, comfort.
They did.
They knew exactly what they were doing. So that's what they were selling.
And it was obviously very successful.
Very successful. So, and that was because a lot of these dudes had military experience from Second World War. So they knew how to manage large organizations and large amounts of people. And then they had the fucking benefits of understanding mass psychology and human nature. They knew a lot about human nature. And Disney came from that. A lot of the fucking American fucking institutions were rooted in that kind of thinking. Like American, everything that was iconic and American was corporate.
Yeah.
Big. Consistent.
Yeah.
It could deliver anywhere, anytime, at a low price. Yeah. Bud
exactly
Light.
What you expect.
Yeah, Bud Light. It's some shitty beer. Budweiser, some shitty beer. But it was everywhere. And it was always the same. And no matter where you were in the United States, no matter what state it was exactly the same. So you could depend on that.
Yeah.
If you were in another state and you fucking felt out of place, and you're like, oh man, I'm traveling. Oh, I recognize that. That's a Budweiser.
Yeah.
Oh, it's exactly the same. I feel at home now. It's just they knew what they were doing, and that's what McDonald's offered.
Like I said, that was a very successful business.
It's not a great hamburger. You come to my kitchen, I will make you a great hamburger.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Tom makes some fucking epic.
But I can't make a McDonald's hamburger.
Because it doesn't exactly.
It's not quite the
taste
same.
like a hamburger. I can't explain it.
It's a corporate product, and the boomer
it's good, but it doesn't really taste like a hamburger.
Our parents' generation, the boomer generation, grew up in that corporate type environment, and that shit like that kept them calm. That consistency, reliability, sameness.
Yeah.
If it came out of a corporation, you could trust it. It was official.
Yeah.
We're Gen X. Wasn't quite that way. We understood. We knew what they were doing. They were like, nah.
We don't play that shit.
Nah.
I'm just like, that sounds boring as shit.
You're right.
Although every now and then, like I said, I do like.
It does have some good things.
When I'm drunk, honestly, when I'm drunk, I want an Egg McMuffin, but they don't do that shit anymore. Like, it's still open all night, but they don't have breakfast all night like they used to, because they are cheaping out on shit.
And let me back up a little bit to slightly defend McDonald's. I say that's not a great hamburger, but that hamburger was a huge improvement over the original hamburger. The real American hamburger, the first American hamburger, the one where the culture actually came from, was a White Castle burger.
It was White Castle / Crystal.
Crystal.
Which is kind of the same thing.
I can enjoy a bunch of them, especially when you're drunk. But man, that's a crappy hamburger.
That is heartburn in a bag. We ate them a lot growing up because they were cheap.
Yeah.
You could get a lot of food for not much money.
Yeah.
And, my parents had a big family, and it's just kind of like...
It was a processed meat cracker with holes in it.
Yeah. With a big, nice, floofy bun.
Yeah, it was a dinner roll.
It's a dinner roll, yeah.
And
it's a slider.
It's a slider.
In today's parlance.
Nowadays you call it a slider. It's a little bitty dinner roll with a square meat cracker with holes in it so it would cook real quickly. And the onions, diced onions that were fried in the oil, it was all cooked together. And they had a special damn grill where they would do all this. A griddle that they would do all this on. And then they would steam the buns and put them all in there. And then they all it was a fucking dinner roll with a meat cracker, sauteed onions, and a pickle. And mustard. That was it.
No mayo?
And grease.
Yeah. No mayo, no ketchup.
No mayo, no ketchup.
Mustard, pickle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a hamburger. And when it came out, people wouldn't eat it. They had to hire doctors to go and fucking stand outside there and tell everybody it was safe. It's good for you. It's good for you. Yeah, they would eat. That was considered like foreign food.
Well, the doctor said it was okay.
Yeah, and they put them outside of factories, and factory workers learned to eat that. Yeah. And they had to be. People didn't know anything about nutrition back then. They thought that might be dangerous. Because that's not fucking American food.
I guess they were right about that.
Yeah, that might be dangerous. Oh, they were eating fucking rotten shit out of cans, and they'd eat all kinds of
stuff. Yeah, I'm sure it was better than what
it was actually better than what they were used to.
They were usually
it was actually better. Fucking White Castle was actually
they're not
uniform.
That bad. They're not that bad.
They were like McDonald's. They were very uniform. It was the same thing over and over again. It was healthy. Like the food, it was not rotten. And there's a high turnover. And for just for pennies, you could get some of these burgers and get some protein.
Yeah.
And protein was kind of like in the early 1900s, protein was kind of a scarce commodity. Most people didn't eat that. Fucking, you couldn't get fresh meat, especially if you were in a fucking city. They mostly ate canned meat. Only rich people could really afford real fresh meat. And a lot of the meat you might get your hands on was rotten.
Yeah.
A lot of because they didn't have refrigeration yet. So shit would get fucked up in the supply chain.
The good old days.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah, there wasn't really good old days.
Before regulation and before refrigeration.
And they didn't know how to freeze things. They couldn't freeze things. And when they did freeze things, that fucked them up. Like frozen vegetables never survived. That wasn't until really the 50s that 50s and 60s. That's when they learned how to freeze vegetables.
Yeah, that was the whole thing about Bird's Eye. Was kind of the first company, I think, to do that. Like at least on a mass scale.
Yeah.
Like to sell like fresh, like frozen vegetables. Which, actually, it's always better to, like, get fresh shit, but the frozen stuff is, in some ways, kind of better, generally. CB said telling someone they were going to work at McDonald's used to be an insult. It did, yeah, but it's just kind of like, it's a job, man. Like I said, my brother worked there when he was younger. He was a teenager. My best friend worked there when she was younger, like in her 20s. And, you know, my brother worked in restaurants a lot, like when he was younger. Like he worked at Bennigan's. He was a cook there. He worked at McDonald's for a long time. But the fact that he'll still eat there, I'm like, well, that makes me kind of feel better. Because, like, if you work somewhere and you're like, I'll never eat there again, then it's like, you know. Full Metal Nosferatu says, Jenny, I had to go to the grocery store and figure out dinner for tonight and tomorrow, and I went by the seafood area, and I think I saw Tom Cruise's fish, so I made chili instead. I mean, I would hope that whatever Tom Cruise did to that fish, allegedly, that they wouldn't put it back in the case. So you're probably safe, you know? Because, I mean, if Tom Cruise, like, took the fish and allegedly, reportedly, took it in the bathroom and did something scandalous with it.
Ridiculous.
And then threw it in the garbage can.
Yeah.
You know, just, I've heard.
That's ridiculous.
Like, I don't think they'd put it back in the case. Although maybe they would. Maybe the business is hurting and they're just kind of like, man, we can't waste that whole ass fish. I don't care if Tom Cruise's dick has been in that fish's mouth. They're not going to eat the fish's mouth. It's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I literally had never heard that urban legend before until I saw it on Wang. Because, like I said, I was scrolling through all of Wang's shows and he's like, it wasn't called Tom Cruise Fish Fucker, but it was called Fish Lover, I think. And I was like, oh my God, I got to watch this. And I was like, wow, I've never heard that ever. You know what I mean? CB says, all American beer is shit. Well, the mainstream American beer is. Yeah. I will argue, though, I'm not a big beer connoisseur. Just going to say that.
No, they have some good shit, but it's microbrew
we
beer.
have a lot of microbreweries.
Yeah.
And a lot of their beer is excellent. But like I said, just the shit that's like off the shelf or whatever, yeah, not great.
Yeah, the mass production beer.
I agree.
You see, you don't become a powerful company in the United States by selling quality. You sell based on price and distribution. The United States is huge. You have to be able to deliver with uniformity a shit ton of products to all these little nooks and crannies, all these little bitty stores everywhere. They're everywhere, so you need massive distribution.
Yeah, you have to go to like every little butthole.
Yeah.
Like Podunk Town, right. Like in Oklahoma.
And that beer, the price on it has to be as low as possible. So you're selling price. You're not selling quality. Because most of those people that are buying that shit, they don't have much money.
Yeah.
Okay, so they can't afford nice beer.
They just want something to get
They just
drunk,
want some drunk.
They just want to lay on their lazy boy.
Yeah.
And watch TV and drink some beers and get fucked up.
Now, there are higher end...
As we all do.
There are higher end beers here, but they don't have the distribution.
Yeah.
Because...
They're regional largely.
They're regional. Because if you try to distribute that high-end beer on a nationwide scale here, the price will fucking triple. Yeah. So you'll price yourself out of the market. And because think about it, now all of a sudden you have to take this high quality beer and you got to expand production to fucking unrealistic levels.
Yeah.
And then you have to ship it everywhere.
So you have to cheap out.
You got to cheap out. So shit like Budweiser and Schlitz and all that fucking bullshit, that's piss water.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of it. And it doesn't cost anything to make.
Yeah.
So those companies can survive.
If you want to pay more and get the good shit.
Yeah, it's going to be something local.
Wherever you live.
Yeah.
There's probably like a regional beer or several regional beers that are much, much better. But like I said, you are going to pay a premium for that for a good reason. Some of the
Yingling is good. Like the Black and Tan's good.
I don't mind Yingling actually.
It's pretty good.
It's actually pretty decent.
That's one of the smaller big breweries. It's an old brewery.
It's not bad.
What's that?
It's not bad. It's pretty good.
It's not bad. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Another one is Wicked. Wicked's pretty good. Sam Adams is pretty good. That's northeastern beer. But you can find... I could go down to the liquor store here and find beer that is American made that I've never heard. I couldn't even recognize the brand.
Yeah, it's just fairly
like, what the fuck is that?
Brewery.
And you taste it's great. It'd be like a red or a stout or a Weizen, like a German Weizen. You can get anything here. Just that you may not be able to find. It might not ever be able to find that again, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You go somewhere else, you can't find it.
Yeah.
Or you go back there a month later and you never see that beer again. What happened to that? Oh, yeah, we ordered some other shit.
Yeah.
So you don't, you know.
I really like that, what's that moonshine brewery in Tennessee? Old Smoky?
Yeah.
They make a good moonshine.
Yeah.
They make like all different flavors.
It's not real moonshine. But...
Not really.
Yeah.
But they sell it in like mason jars as one should.
Yeah.
And they have all different flavors, and that shit is delicious.
Jars.
Yeah.
Jars.
My sister actually went to the brewery there when she was in Tennessee, and she said that was like super fun. But like I said, when I went to St. Augustine, they have a really big distillery there. They make their own vodka. They make their own gin. I think they might make rum too. I'm not really sure. Yeah. But like they make all kind of stuff because when you do the tour, like they take you to the distillery and everything. So they have all their own shit. I didn't buy any of it because I couldn't afford it, but like yeah, every region has its own shit. So don't shit on us just because of Budweiser. We all know it sucks. Yeah. We know it sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah, I wouldn't drink that.
I wouldn't drink it either.
No.
Like if I'm gonna buy beer, like I said, I'm not a big beer person.
When you go to
if I'm gonna buy beer, I'm gonna buy good fucking beer.
Yeah, when you go
not
to
bad.
When you go to like when you go to say like if we went down to the fucking what's that wine and beer place where we used to go see the shows at over there in Orlando?
The Falcon?
The Falcon. Go to the Falcon. You're not going to find Budweiser in there. You're not going to find any of that shit.
No, that's like a craft beer.
Yeah, you're going to find craft beer in there.
That's kind of one of their big things.
Have your European...
It's a tiny, tiny place.
Yeah, you're going to find Guinness, and you're going to find fucking...
They got all the European shit.
All the European shit. And you're going to find American shit you've never even heard of. It's fucking great.
Shit.
Yeah.
And they have different ones on all the time that they recommend.
Seasonal beers and stuff.
So that's like, yeah, that's kind of their big thing. So, like I said, I know like most of the mainstream shit sucks. Everybody knows that. It is terrible.
Well, it's sold based on price.
Yeah.
And distribution. It's everywhere.
Like I said, if you just want like a cheap way to get drunk, although, man, it would take me a really long time to get drunk on Budweiser.
You have to drink a lot of it.
I don't even think I could drink enough to get drunk on. I'd probably fall asleep before that happened.
And, you know, the people that are drinking that are low income.
Yeah.
And they're buying that because it's near where they live. They could walk there and get that.
Yeah.
And it's always
walking
there.
Down to the Circle K.
Yeah. Now,
getting some bud.
One of the breweries, Miller, they would open up second and tertiary lines, product lines, like they were more higher end. Like Miller also owned Killian's.
Yeah.
Which is like a red lager.
Which is actually pretty good.
It was a lot better.
They
didn't make as much of that though.
No.
See.
Well, they wanted to get in on that action.
Yeah, they were trying to get like
you'd be dumb not to.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when the whole craft beer explosion started, however long ago it started.
Now, is that going to fucking compete with Guinness? Like a Guinness Stout? No.
But you can get Guinness pretty much.
You can get we can get Guinness here, yeah.
You can get Guinness anywhere.
And when you pull the fucking thing in the bottom and all that, we have all that. It's just like chocolate. Like, you know, Hershey's was able to get fucking bars of chocolate out to little kids for like a penny back when it first came out. And they could be anywhere at any time in the United States, and it was every store had it, and they made money that way. Was it chocolate? Yeah. It was good. Was it good? Yeah, it was okay. Was it great chocolate? No.
Like product?
Yeah, no.
It's all right in a pinch.
Now, Hershey's also makes other chocolates that are a lot higher end than that, but they're going to cost more.
Yeah.
Like they own other companies.
Yeah.
It just doesn't say Hershey's on it. But you look on the back, it'll tell you that it's owned by the Hershey's company.
That's what I mean. It's just like, they'd be dumb not to get in on that action. Like, yeah, you can have like the baseline, just Hershey bar, which is fine. It's good enough. It's cheap. Like when you just want something and you're at the fucking Circle K checkout and you're like, hey, I want some chocolate. There it is. And it's $1 or whatever.
A lot of those famous, you know, British and German beer companies were local to Germany and England. They're kind of small. But they just went nationwide because the product was good. America has a lot of local breweries. I can't even name them all. And it'd be about like that. I think my friend Steve owned one of them in Detroit for a while. It was called Motor City Brewery. And they made stouts and reds and all kinds of shit. And that business slowly went under. They really couldn't sell it all, but the fucking quality is fucking great. But it's hard to beat the price. Most people just want something cheap.
Compete, yeah.
Yeah.
Depending on what market you're in.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in a market that appreciates it, has slightly higher income, and appreciates a good beer, then you can thrive in that environment. But, like, if you're out in fucking Podunk, Oklahoma, everybody just wants cheap shit. They don't care what it tastes like.
They don't care what it tastes like.
They just want to, like I said...
They don't have enough money
They just want something to, like, drink in their Lazy Boy. So...
And they're buying consistency. They know what Bud tastes like. Yeah. They've been drinking it forever.
Yeah, it tastes like ass.
It tastes like ass, but they're comfortable with it. They know what it tastes like.
Actually, it doesn't even it's not even interesting enough to taste like ass.
It's just kind of like a...
It tastes like nothing.
It's a way of getting alcohol into your system.
It doesn't even taste like alcohol. It doesn't even have...
You get drunk off of it.
You can, but it takes a while.
You got to drink at least a 6-pack.
It takes a while.
At least a 6-pack.
The thing about beer, even good beer, is that I will legit fall asleep before I get drunk off beer. You know, the few times that we've been to the Falcon, because we'd go there to see shows and stuff, because they had a really good... I don't know if they do it anymore, but they used to do a Friday night called Uberbahn, and it was all like post-punk and dark wave and stuff, and it was like obscure shit, and it was really good. It's a tiny, tiny, tiny place. Not really a dance floor or anything like that. It's just a tiny, like, hole-in-the-wall bar. And they don't have a liquor license, so they could just do beer and wine. But so they decided they were going to just do, like, specialty beers. So they'd all have special ones and stuff. So I'd always get different ones. I'd get, like, vanilla stout or coffee stout or whatever. And I would get all this stuff when I was there. I would have 2 or 3 beers, and I'd be so fucking sleepy, like, before I even got a buzz on. I was just like, man, I'm just going to take a nap, like, right here on the thing. It's like, I'm not even... That's why I like hard liquor better, because at least I can
more concentrated.
At least I can have fun on the shit. Even if I don't remember it the next day. Like, I can still have fun.
When I was stationed in Egypt, the British were supplying our alcohol over at South Camp. And we were drinking... The beer that they had... There were ex-British Navy guys that ran the food service and maintenance there, and they also had a bar that they would run out of a trailer. It was pretty cool bar. It was a pretty cool bar. But it was at South Camp, and they had Australian beer that they were bringing in, and it was Foster's.
Oh yeah.
It was a blue, and then there was another one.
That was the big thing here. I remember they were trying to... I remember the commercials. Foster's, Australian for beer. Like, I remember all those commercials.
Yeah, it was just okay.
The 90s.
It was just okay. It was, you know... I would say
it's probably a different formula. The American one.
I would say
Foster's
was actually comparable to American beer, like a little bit better than average American beer. There was another one. I think Foster's was in a blue and white can, and then there was another one that was in a green and white can. I don't remember what that one. Darby's maybe, the Foster's, and what was the other one?
I don't remember.
There was, like I said, I'm not two different.
I'm not a big beer
Australian beer.
I'm a vodka person.
I don't remember. Well, it was cheap though.
Yeah.
When we were in Egypt, it was cheap, so you just could get one. And then, you know, they had everything else. They had Glenfiddich Scotch, fucking Johnny Walker Red and Black. Lots of gin, beef eater. I used to like gin.
I like gin too.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's very acidic, at least to my stomach. So it's just kind of like every now and then I'm like, man, I want some gin, man. I want a gin and tonic. So every now and then I'll have a gin and tonic night. But I always know if I'm having gin and tonic, I can maybe have 3. More than that, yeah, I'm going to barf. I don't usually barf from alcohol, but gin and tonic will make me barf if I drink more than 3. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the lime juice. I don't know if it's just I don't know. But I love the taste of them, though. I know some people don't like it because it is very juniper heavy.
It's not sweet. You can drink a lot of
it. It is, yeah.
Gin and tonic isn't sweet.
But yeah, so but every now and then I'll get in that kind of mood. You know what I mean? Oh, Full Metal... I had to address this. Full Metal Nosferatu said, Jenny, remember when Professor Bobo made a sandwich with the Observer's brain? The funniest thing about that whole skit... He's talking about MST, by the way. The funniest thing to me about that whole skit was that he made the sandwich with this... Well, okay. So, the funniest thing about it was how long he took, like, slicing off little pieces of the brain and then, like... very carefully putting like tomatoes and lettuce and mayo or whatever the fuck and putting that all on there, and then he would bite into it and that brain guy would like scream in the other room, and it took him so long to like figure out what was going on. Like he'd be like bite into it and there'd be a scream and he'd be like, what the fuck was that? It's just, I don't know, that was just very, very funny to me. Like that whole fucking sketch, I loved those ones where they would like just take forever. Like, they would just take their time. You know what I mean? All their sketches were good, like, to greater or lesser degrees. But, man, that one was so fucking funny. I don't know why I found that so fucking funny. But that was, like, the funniest thing to me. Was that he would keep hearing the scream when he bit into the sandwich and he couldn't figure out what it was. And all the mayonnaise. He put so much fucking mayonnaise on that sandwich. And I love mayonnaise, okay? So I'm just, like, not that. But, whoo, like, there was this whole... Every time he bit it, like, this big squirt of mayonnaise would come out, and I'm like, like, I even like mayonnaise, and that's so gross. Yeah, I was like, gross out. Full Metal then says, Narragansett beer, which is what Quint guzzled and crushed, has a shandy in the summers with a local lemonade maker called Dell's. So refreshing. Shandies are good. Like, I was in the UK for a while, like, back in the mid-90s to mid-2000s. And I would get those on occasion. They are very good. I don't know why they're not more common here. You know? A shandy. Do you know what that is?
What's a shandy?
Like a beer, like half beer, half lemonade, kind of?
Sounds... I never had one, but
yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
That's a big thing in the UK. It's a big thing.
What I like is...
especially in the summertime.
I like Black Velvet.
I like those too.
Which is stout. A black stout beer and... hard cider.
We used to get it with
half and half.
We used to get it with a pear cider.
Yeah, that's good too.
At what was the place at the Falcon? They would do a Black Velvet with Guinness, half Guinness and half pear cider, and that was really good. You could apple cider too, but I think like sometimes they just had pear, and that was also really good. Like I said, usually when we went there, I would just usually get just beer, like whatever stout they had. Like I said, I like vanilla stouts or coffee stouts, or I would just ask whatever their fucking special was. But like I said, I would only have 2 or 3 and then I would start falling asleep. So beer just makes me sleepy. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Let's see. Where was I? CB says Tenet's special brew can be 80%. Holy shit. I needed help when being sick. My mom had to hold my head over the toilet. I don't think Have I ever had to have anybody hold my hair back while I vomited? I'm trying to think. I don't remember. I've certainly vomited enough times, like after drinking, but usually it's the next day. And I can get to my own bathroom and throw up. In dignity, as everyone should. So I don't really need anybody to hold my hair back, but I did throw up at the club one time, but I didn't throw up in the club. I just I was like, yeah, I'm gonna barf, and I went to the bathroom.
Read what fucking Victor says.
Where?
About the old timey 7-Up commercial. That's weird, man.
Where? Is it at the bottom?
Must be. Victor said he saw an old timey 7-Up commercial where
I got
where they told you to take 1 part fucking 7-Up.
I remember that. No, but I don't remember. Yeah, I remember. I don't remember it being 7-Up. I remember it being milk and Pepsi.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I remember the commercial had it like swirled. I was like, it's not gonna do that like naturally. Come on.
Milk and root beer would be good.
Like a root beer float. Well, yeah, because that'd be like a root beer float.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't drink it because that sounds kind of sickly. But I don't know. I'm not doubting you at all about the 7-Up and milk. But I don't remember that. But I do remember the Pepsi and milk.
Yeah.
Because I remember that was a thing. I remember like
print back in the 70s, little kids.
Like there'd be a bottle and it would just be like swirled with like Pepsi and like milk in there.
Yeah, I remember that.
But like, 7-Up, my grandma used to make a cake that had 7-Up in it.
Yeah.
Because they were always trying to get... That was the thing, like, all these soda companies, they were trying to, like, fucking...
It's like a bundt cake.
Expand their markets. Well, she made it, like, as a sheet cake, kind of. And you would... Was there Giallo in it, too, I want to say? Like lime Giallo?
When you were talking about a sheet cake, man, it made me think of baking it. Remember that? Man, I haven't done a pineapple upside down cake in a while. Remember that?
You haven't? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sounds good, doesn't it?
What was that ice cream you made the other day? I thought that was kind of like... Wasn't that pineapple upside down cake?
No, it was just pineapple.
It was just pineapple?
Yeah.
Because I know that you made like a blackberry cobbler cake, ice cream.
I just took...
Which was delicious, by the way.
I just took brown sugar, butter, and pineapple, and sautéed it and cooked it down, and then blended it. And then I swirled that into vanilla ice cream. That's all it was. It also had it was brown sugar and cinnamon in it.
Yeah, to make it taste like a crust.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Like if it was a cobbler.
It was pretty good.
Man, it was really good. Because like I said, I'm not a huge fan of just like fruity ice cream. Yeah. But when you add that extra element.
Seasoning. You want to
of like having that little like a cobbler kind of moment.
Yeah.
Like, man, that was really good.
Yeah, cinnamon.
It was really good.
Cinnamon, brown sugar.
But still, now I'm kind of thinking 7-Up and 1 part milk and 1 part 7-Up. That sounds gross as shit. 70s, man. What the fuck were they thinking?
Well, the people that were saying that in the 70s came out of the 50s. They did weird shit in the 50s.
Yeah, they did.
They were making ass pick and stuff.
Well, one of my favorite things, I don't even know if this website is there anymore. But there used to be a long time ago. And it was a website, and this guy, or girl, I don't remember who it was, but they found like all these old Weight Watchers cards, like recipe cards from the 70s. And they posted pictures in them all and like and then they made like funny commentary. And that was seriously like one of the funniest things I ever read. Because I remember those cards. My mom had some of those. Like they'd send them to you in like little packets or whatever. And it's like most of the photography, here's the thing. They didn't know how to do fucking food photography in the 1970s. Everything they photographed looked like, I don't know, it just looked like nothing you would ever want to eat. They didn't know how to light it properly. They didn't know how to not make it look like barf or a pile of shit or whatever. They just didn't know. And they put shit together that should never go together. Like 7-Up and milk, I'm thinking. I mean, I guess when you think about it, it's not that weird, I suppose. But, because like you said, root beer floats with root beer and vanilla ice cream are delicious.
Yeah.
So it's not that strange. But still, I don't know. That just sounds really gross to me. I was really into milk as a kid. I used to drink milk a lot. Like, all I ever used to drink was milk and water and the occasional orange juice.
Michael Jordan is asking you a question.
Michael Jordan? Like the Michael Jordan?
No, he's a different Michael Jordan.
Are you sure?
Above that old-timey question about the 7-Eleven.
Okay, hold on. Has there been an update on the Texarkana Phantom Killer case or the Zodiac case? I just thought to ask. I've been getting into true crime. Not that I know of.
No, Zodiac, they probably know who that is. Some new stuff recently came out on that.
It did, like, because I've been wanting to do a show about, like, an update on the Zodiac. But like I said, I don't know if they know anything definitively. I don't think they know anything new about the Phantom Killer case, though. I don't know if they'll ever... I'm pretty sure I know who that was, but...
The kids of the guys who's the suspect...
That's right.
...in the Zodiac Killer... They're grown now. They said, no, it was my dad, basically. Fucking, and that he was taking care of them.
And I kind of bought it, like all the stuff they said.
Yeah, it sounded very plausible.
It did sound plausible.
And that he was babysitting them at the time that he did that fucking first and second murder. The second one is where he shot the couple and rode on their car. That was the weekend that he had the kids.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Hey kids, let's just go down to the beach for gotta run down here for a second. Don't ask me what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And that
serial killers, man.
And that he drugged them at certain times.
That's right, yeah.
And that he had molested his own daughter during that period.
It wasn't
Wasn't it his daughter?
No, he was the mom's boyfriend.
Yeah.
So he was not related to them, I don't think.
Okay. It was a stepdad then.
But the fact that like his mom was just kind of like, sure, take my kids.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
And the corroborating evidence is that the dude that they're talking about was one of the main suspects.
He was
in the case. Yeah.
And some of the shit they said, I'm just like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the kids are kind of like, no, it was him. He kind of confessed to it.
To them,
as he was dying, right? Wasn't he dying? He was old and he was dying.
It's been a while since I've seen it, but yeah. Like I said, we should probably do an update on that.
Yeah.
In light of that. Although that documentary came out a while back. Was it on Netflix?
Super
chat. We did? Oh my god. I'm getting so behind. Thank you very much, Zach.
What's up, Zach?
Gave us a super chat. You're right. I know. I was just gonna say, like, because I got like super behind.
Yeah, Zach, Victor showed up.
I get super behind. I'm not being like
all my gays are here.
Yeah.
The gay army.
He says, you reminded me of the morning I was hungover and had to pee super bad. The toilet was clogged. I go to unclog it and it overflowed on the floor. See, I've had that happen before. You know what I mean? He said that the drunkest he's ever been was on Jack Daniel's Honey, which...
Yeah,
I like
easy,
that.
Easy to drink.
I like that shit. But I can see how you would get really fucking blasted on it because it's not...
Very easy to drink.
It's very drinkable. So you could drink a lot of it before
Jack
realizing
Daniel's Honey. There was
how much of it that you
There's
drank.
a Jim Beam apple that's really good. Wasn't that Jim Beam or was that Jack Daniel's apple?
They both have one.
Okay.
But I think, Toby...
The one that Toby gives us.
That's Jim Beam, I think.
Okay. Really
he
good.
always brings that in his flask. Well, he used to. He doesn't have flask anymore because now we're at a place that has actual alcohol. But
another one is, I think they had a cinnamon one or a red... no, what am I thinking of?
They did have a cinnamon. It was it was like a cinnamon.
Yeah, it was good.
Or like a red hot kind of,
like
which I can't. Like I said, I can't even drink Fireball. Tom liked Fireball, but it's like I can't even drink
Fireball.
Shots of Fireball. It's like that is just heartburn in a cup.
Oh, it's not that bad.
No, for me it is.
For you it is, yeah.
Like I will get heartburn like immediately.
Yeah, it doesn't do it to me.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky. I wish it didn't, but
no, it just kind of.
I love cinnamon.
It's just hot and then it goes away.
As a flavor,
yeah.
But anything that's like real, like Red Hots or anything like that, like gives me immediate heartburn.
No, but Jack Daniel's and Jim Beam did a good job at coming up with flavored, ready-to-drink whiskeys, which they wouldn't have done that back when I was a kid, because boomers didn't like any alcohol. Boomers and Gray's generation didn't like any kind of alcohol that tasted good. If it tasted good, they
were no fun at all.
Yeah, if it tasted good, then it was for girls.
They missed out on so much.
They like shit that was super fucking dry.
That's okay. I'm a girl. I'll take all the good stuff. You guys can go be manly men over there with all your shitty tasting shit. You know.
Well, the only manly man shitty tasting shit that I liked was gin and tonic.
Well, I love gin and tonic actually.
Glenfiddich Scotch on the rocks, but you never want to mix Scotch with anything. It's just trying to think of what other one that would be kind of like a martinis are good.
Oh my god, you guys!
But they're fucking rough to drink. Fucking depends on what kind of martini it is.
So a couple weeks back,
I'm
gonna tell this story. So a couple weeks back, well, it's not a story necessarily. Don't get your hopes up. But a couple weeks back at Barbarella, we were there and we were already fairly blasted. On me, I'm with my vodka and orange juice, my screwdrivers, and him on his tequila sunrises. We're kind of fucked up. And we kind of run into this other couple, and they are drinking coffee martinis.
Yeah, in the martini glasses.
In the martini glasses. It was super classy. And so they give Tom a sip of that.
Yeah.
And he's like,
"Oh, I'm going to get that.
Oh, I'm going to go get some of these."
Yeah.
And so he goes and gets some, and indeed they are delicious. However, he failed to ask how much they cost.
Yeah, they were like almost $14 each.
So when we got the tab later that night, it was a little bit of sticker shock. Let's just say that.
It was about $160.
Which is about $40 or $50 more than it usually is. They were good though. But the thing about it was that, man, we got so fucking blasted that night. But like, it was fun. Like nothing bad happened or nothing. Nobody threw up. Nobody got in a fight or nothing like that.
Martini glass encourages you to drink fast too, because it's got the angle. The fucking
they were so
good.
And then like the
those
next
things
week,
are so good, man. Coffee martinis are so fucking good.
The next
because it's not. It's not dry. It has that fucking rich coffee fucking baritone fucking flavor. And there's a sweetness to it. It's like drinking liquid black coffee with the alcohol in it. They're really good.
They really are good.
They're addictive, yeah.
And then like the week after that, the bartender was like, "You sure you don't want any coffee?"
They tried to offer some more. I was like, "Man, we'll get some next."
And I told her, I was like,
"We'll get a couple tomorrow."
Tom just went, because I was over on the dance floor. I didn't know what was going on. He's like, "I'm going to go get some of these." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." You know what I mean? Because I'm kind of drunk and dancing or whatever. And he goes and gets some. I'm like, "Man, these are delicious." And then like,
I got like 3 rounds.
He's like, "It was like $200."
Yeah. It was almost 200. It was almost 200.
And I was like, "Holy shit! Well, let's not do that again."
No, we get fucking screwdrivers and fucking tequila sunrises that don't have any hardly any fucking... The way they pour them for us, me and Jen are like fucking celebrities. We help promote their shit, and we're hooked up with everybody. And all the bartenders love us. We fucking tip well.
Well, I like all the bartenders too.
And
they're all really cool.
When our drinks hardly have any orange juice in them. It's just fucking straight.
Yeah, she just pours it. She's like vodka,
and just a little splash of orange in there. Yeah, and she's like winking at us.
I'm just like,
yeah.
You trying to kill us or what?
And that's a nice place, man. The trap is the booby trap's a nice place because like the axe trap. That's what it's actually called. But
it used to be.
It used to be called a booby trap.
That building is not there anymore,
though. But what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
What was I talking about?
What was I talking about?
Yeah,
you were talking about how the bartenders loved us and they gave us all this stuff and about the coffee martinis.
Yeah. Well, it's just a splash of fucking orange juice on straight.
They take care of us, the bartenders there. That's for sure.
So,
but like I said, that's kind of why like the next day I'm like, man, what happened?
I was gonna say
last night?
They're well drinks. When we say well here in the United States, a well drink is like their fucking rock
That's their bottom of the shelf.
That's the bottom of the shelf.
That's the cheapest shit.
That's the cheapest shit they got. Well, their well drinks are actually mid shelf. They're not bottom shelf.
This is a classy ass.
Yeah, it's nice. So like their well tequila is El Jimador, which is good. That's good fucking
like I
tequila.
Said, we've bought that for our own
that's
house.
not cheap.
That's good shit.
Yeah, and their well fucking vodka is like fucking I think it might be Grey Goose.
It might be.
I think
it's
Grey Goose.
I haven't really seen it.
Now the higher end shit's more expensive, but they don't have a whole lot of it. But what they have is it's a pretty bar.
Yeah, they seem to not have, because look, as much as I loved the old like downtown Ibar location, their well vodka was Aristocrat.
Yeah, it was just terrible.
Which look, hey, I'm not a snob. I'm not picky.
Aristocrat's terrible.
But Aristocrat, I'll drink fucking cheap ass vodka, okay? Yeah. But Aristocrat,
it hurts when you drink Aristocrat.
Oh, it's like rubbing alcohol.
Yeah, terrible.
Oh, it's terrible. So it's like, I mean, what's that fucking... I'll drink Pinnacle.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is only like $11, $12.
Yeah.
For a fifth, right?
No, $20.
Oh, it's $20
for a fifth.
Oh, I guess the smaller one's like $11 or $12.
Svedka. We're drinking Svedka right now.
This is Svedka.
Svedka and Pinnacle are the same.
So, which is fine. Bucks. Like I said, vodka, once you get up to a certain price point...
There's diminishing returns on
vodka. They're all pretty good. Yeah. But like I said... Aristocrat, though, that is like lower even than I would go. Because I got it one time just out of curiosity because I didn't have much money. Well, I was just like, well, just give me the well shit. And Lee's like, are you sure? And I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of broke.
I think a fifth.
Never again.
I think a fifth of Aristocrat probably cost the bar only $5.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's horrible.
And vodka, like I said...
they can turn that into a lot of drinks. They can turn that into $100 worth of fucking booze.
And vodka, it doesn't have to be expensive to be good. Like I said, up to a certain... Like, you get $11, $12, $13, $20. Like, for that, it's, like, totally drinkable. And honestly, I can't really tell the difference between a kind of mid-shelf $15 to $20 vodka and a more expensive vodka. Like, they kind of taste the same to me. But... Man, you don't want to go lower than that. That's for sure. At least as far as... Because, like I said, I'm a vodka girl. I don't really know, like, that much about, like, other kinds of liquor. So, that's pretty much, like... But, yeah, I'm not even... Like I said, I'm not a snob and I'm not picky. But, man, that Aristocrat shit was terrible. Oh, my God, it was so terrible. I was like, are we sure we're allowed to... Is this... safe for human consumption, or you know what I mean? They knew the bartenders at the old Ibar knew that it was bad. But the thing about it is that the place where they have it now is they kind of pride themselves more in like having higher end shit. So even their their drinks are not cheap. I think the ones we get, even with the mid shelf quote unquote mid, are well vodka and well tequila are $8-9 each, which I guess is pretty standard, like for bars. But like I said, the coffee martinis, as we found out later to our detriment, were like $14 each.
Yeah, this is what we're drinking.
They were real good though.
This is Svedka.
Yeah, that's what we got.
It's in a glass bottle. It's just.
Well, I drank the last of the plastic bottle.
Yeah, that was Pinnacle.
I drank the last.
They're the same price, but this is in a nice glass bottle, and it's This is just mid-shelf. It's just good vodka. Doesn't have an obnoxious aftertaste or anything. It tastes like all the other vodkas.
Yeah.
For a good price. $20. $20.
I mean, you can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
And like I said, that lasts like a couple of weeks for us. Maybe longer. Like I said, over a certain price point, I think you're probably wasting your money. Especially where vodka's concerned. Because vodka... The whole thing about vodka is that it's not supposed to have a super overpowering...
It's flavorless.
...taste.
Yeah.
I mean, it's supposed to just
like flavorless.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of one of its...
You mix it with stuff.
That's one of its main selling points, in my opinion, because that's why we always get vodka, because you can mix it with anything.
Anything. Like, we're drinking it in apple juice.
We got apple juice.
Yeah.
Like, but if we just have, like, fucking cheap-ass Dr. Pepper knockoff from Dollar General.
Dollar General. That's
Dr.
good in that
Topper,
too.
whatever they call
Dr. Topper. It's good in that too.
It's good in that too.
Yeah.
You can put it in iced coffee.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
You can put it in apple juice. You can put it in lemonade. You can put it in anything, and it still tastes good.
Yeah.
It's very versatile,
which
is what I like.
It doesn't have any kind of annoying aftertaste or anything.
It doesn't clash with anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just,
And it's a clean drunk.
Yeah.
Also. The same is not true, because I love whiskey also. But like I said, obviously whiskey has its own flavor, so you can only mix it with certain things. Yeah. Every now and then, though, I get on like kind of a Jack and Coke kind of thing, and
Camp Guy's been drinking Aristocrat.
Oh my god.
Man.
My theory is it tastes just like lemonade or tonic
Next
wine.
Dimension Media said I had Svedka on a plane once. It wasn't bad at all. They're pretty much.
It's not bad.
I'm pretty much a glue with Sky or Grace. It's just like Sky. I can't tell
the difference between Svedka and Sky.
Same shit.
Maybe that's just because I'm a Philistine or whatever, but it's just like I can't tell the difference.
I can't tell them apart. For me, a good vodka doesn't have any flavor.
Well, like I said,
it
shouldn't.
It should, yeah.
It shouldn't have like an overpowering. That's kind of like vodka's whole strong suit. Yeah. Is that it's alcohol, but you can mix it with anything you want to mix it with, and it's fine.
If I want vodka that does have a flavor, I'm gonna go to fucking silver tequila and use that.
Yeah.
Because that's like vodka, but it's got a flavor to it, and it can go with certain kind of mixers.
Because tequila,
but vodka's not supposed to have any flavor. You're just adding alcohol to a drink that you like. That's what and it's supposed to go.
Yeah,
that's
essentially.
all it is.
That's what you want vodka for.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's why I like it, because it's not that expensive. It's versatile.
Yeah.
I don't really like tequila. The flavor of it is just very... I don't want to say it's offensive, but it's just kind of like... I don't know. I don't really like the taste of tequila.
There's different kinds of tequilas.
I do like a good tequila sunrise. I will drink that. But it's just kind of like... I don't even like the smell of tequila. Like, it just kind of... I don't know. I don't really like it. So, but the thing about it is that tequila has a very, very distinctive smell, a very distinctive flavor, and not everything goes with that.
Yeah.
So you can't mix it.
You gotta know what to do with it.
Same with rum, although I like rum also. But rum goes with most things, but not with other things.
Anjou and Reposado you're not supposed to mix those. In other words, like the gold tequilas and the fucking kind of like light gold tequilas. You're not really. Those are kind of like Mexico's versions of whiskey. You just chill that shit in the refrigerator and drink it straight. That's what they do with it. You're not really supposed to mix that. The only tequila you're supposed to mix is silver tequila. That's like their version of vodka. Yeah. It has a flavor.
It does.
But
I can smell it.
Yeah, but that's what you. So when you see people taking fucking Cuervo Gold and making a fucking tequila sunrise out of that shit, it's kind of sacrilegious to do that.
Wrong.
That'd be like using. That'd be like fucking taking Scotch whiskey and fucking making a mixed drink with it. That was designed. You're paying the extra money for that shit so you can drink it straight.
Yeah.
For that experience. You're not supposed to be mixing it.
Yeah. Some liquors you're just supposed to drink without.
Yeah. Liquors that are mixed have minimal flavor to them. That's what you.
Yeah, that's what they're for. So,
Yeah.
I'm not really aware. Maybe there are like super high end vodkas that you just like drink straight.
No, there are.
I've never drank vodka straight.
I think there's diminishing returns on vodka. If you pay more than $40 on vodka, you're wasting your money.
I feel like
you can get a good vodka for fucking $25.
Yeah, I mean, I've had perfectly decent. Like I said, I've had Sky, I've had Grey Goose, I've had like all the mid shelf kind of, and they all taste pretty comparable. Like I don't really.
Now there may be some fucking elite fucking flavored vodkas out there that are $50 to $100 and shit. But that's not quite. You're not going to mix that. That's something.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I used to work for a company. They are not in business anymore, but they were called Van Gogh.
They made good vodka. They
made really good flavored vodka. Everything was natural. It was a Dutch distillery.
She'd bring home samples. She had all kinds of free shit.
Yeah, because in the office we had a whole ass bar. And, like, when they put a new flavor out, we'd all, like, gather in the bar. It was the best job ever. We'd all gather in the bar, and they'd be like, we're thinking about doing this mixed drink and that mixed drink. Because they would do, like, mixed drinks, too, and, like, they'd let you drink it straight and whatever. Like, on Fridays, usually. So it's like, so everybody would drink it. But it's like, man, that shit, pretty pricey.
Yeah, expensive.
Well,
they had
I think it was 35 or 36 for a smaller, for the smaller, not a fifth, but like the smaller. What is the smaller? Like 1.5 liter? Or
it was a fifth. No, that's right. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's like the smaller one.
They had Van Gogh vodka.
That was really it was all natural.
It was all natural, no artificial flavors in it.
Nope.
They had a peanut butter and jelly one that I thought was really good, but I didn't taste the jelly. I just tasted like peanut butter. Fucking really good. But you mix that shit with Coca-Cola
and put salt on the rim.
Salt around the rim. Man, that shit was
that was so good.
Then they had a caramel one that was really good.
Yeah.
They had a coconut one that was really good. A pineapple one.
Yeah, they had all the flavors.
And the thing is that you're paying this extra money not to mix it with anything. Or with minimal shit. Maybe just put it in a cola. Or soda or something. The problem with it is that Pinnacle was artificially flavored vodka.
Yeah, like Fruit Loops and shit.
And it was a fraction of the price.
Yeah, like I said, it's like $12.
A fraction
of the smaller one.
And
it's like a third of the cost.
Yeah, and it actually tasted better.
Of Van Gogh.
It actually tasted better.
Well, I don't know about that.
Because what
it's dependent on the flavor.
Yeah, depending on the flavor. But Pinnacle, you could taste what it was they were trying to do because it was artificial flavor. They have Fruit Loops flavor.
It was very flavor forward.
You're like, that's Fruit Loops. They'd have fucking birthday cake. And you're like, yeah, that's birthday cake.
That tastes like a birthday cake, all right.
All right, now Van Gogh couldn't do that. They were trying to do it naturally. And
yeah, they actually like smushed real fruit
stuff in there and make
stuff
it
like that.
In part of the process, which was a lot more expensive. And yeah, you could say it had a higher end flavor, but the people that were fucking drinking flavored vodkas were partiers.
Yeah,
and they were younger.
Yeah,
they didn't have all that kind of money. They just wanted a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, it's Pinnacle, like I don't have $35 to spend on this tiny little.
I'll swear by Pinnacle. I drink it. Pinnacle gives a lot of fucking bang for their buck.
Especially their whipped cream.
That whipped cream
vodka.
That
mix is really good with a lot of stuff.
Go down there and get some of their whipped cream
vodka and like orange juice.
Put that shit in orange juice.
It tastes just
on
like
the rocks. Like a creamsicle.
Like a creamsicle.
That's one of the best drinks you can have. And you can get loaded off that shit for next to nothing. The other stuff, I didn't really know how to mix it. Like, you could taste Fruit Loops, and you go like, yeah, okay, but what do I do with that?
What do I do with that?
Yeah.
I don't like Fruit Loops anyway, like in real life, so it's like I don't really want any vodka that tastes like Fruit Loops.
Yeah, and the chocolate, and their chocolate, and the coconut, and all that shit.
I did like the coconut.
The coconut was pretty good.
Well, you could mix that with pineapple juice. That would be really good. I think we've done that before.
Yeah, we did it.
But,
you have like something that tastes kind of like Malibu.
Yeah. And mallet.
Yeah, pina colada flavor.
Yeah, like a pina colada.
But I think they made a pina colada, didn't they?
They made so many flavors over the years. They made some weird ass flavors. They made like gummy bear flavor.
Chocolate cake.
Yeah. I haven't looked at all their flavors because normally because we have a liquor store down the street. And they have like a selection of Pinnacle flavors, but not like a fuck ton. They just have like the most popular ones, which is like plain whipped cream, cherry.
Yeah.
What's their other one that's like real popular? I think whipped cream is their most famous.
Yeah. Some of the Pinnacle artificial flavors though would get on you, like that cherry. You get sick of that real quick. It had a real fucking artificial flavor to me. I didn't like that one. I liked it at first, and then after drinking a couple drinks of that, you're like, man, that's too much. The best one was whipped cream.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that's the most versatile because
it goes with anything.
It pretty much goes with anything.
Yeah.
But well, I don't know. Full Metal Nosferatu said, I think my aunt and uncle used to make Giallo and pudding shots with Pinnacle. Probably. Yeah. Probably. I remember, do you remember back when Venue 13 was at that place on Lee Road that later became a Chinese restaurant? That later became a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
They had, and it wasn't Pinnacle, and I don't remember, I think it was a slightly higher end brand. They had the best fucking coffee flavored, was it vodka? I think it was coffee flavored vodka. And it was so fucking good. You didn't have to mix it with anything.
Where was this?
At the old Venue 13.
Yeah, that was Pinnacle.
No, it wasn't Pinnacle.
It wasn't Pinnacle?
No. It definitely wasn't.
Okay.
It was some other brand. I don't even know if they're around anymore. And I wish I could remember what it was because
is that the clear one that had the coffee bean pattern around it? A gold coffee bean silhouettes? So. I think so, yeah.
Because remember Hector that used to work there who has sadly passed away?
Oh, Hector died?
Yeah, he died. Not too long ago.
What did he die of?
I don't remember. I just saw it like a couple months back.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know he died.
Yeah, I told you. Remember?
Okay.
He was the one. He was the guy that. He was the bartender.
Yeah.
That we went to the strip club.
To the strip club for the championship.
For the bartender face off or whatever. Yeah, he died a couple months back, but I don't remember what it was. It was like some kind of fucking fucked up shit. But
overdose?
No, it was
disease.
No, it was disease.
He was young.
I know. Yeah, I think he was
maybe mid-40s. Huh?
I think he was younger than we are.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a good dude. He was a nice dude. But yeah, I remember being like bummed out when I heard that.
Yeah.
But he always used to give me those. But I can't remember what it was. Some like weird brand that I'd never heard of. So it must have been some specialty.
I remember drinking it with
it was like coffee, vodka, something. And it's like I always used to drink them straight because you can't mix it with anything. And man, they were so fucking good. I didn't have a lot of money back then, so I can only get like one or two, but it's just kind of like, man, they were so good. And I wish I could remember what brand it was, but I can't remember. Let me see. Next Dimension says, I wish Sky would make the vanilla again. You could drink that shit straight. Yeah, I mean, Sky is good. We get Sky sometimes when it's on sale. But like I said, over a certain amount, all of the vodkas kind of taste the same to me. If you go under a certain price point, then they all kind of taste like rubbing alcohol. But over a certain price point, they don't taste different enough to me to, justify the difference in price. And we always mix them with stuff anyway, like usually fruit juice or soda. So, like I said, I don't really, like I said, I'm a budget minded person. So I want something that's gonna be versatile, that's gonna like mix with anything, which is why I'm a big vodka person. And so somebody said earlier. Where was it that I saw? Camp Guy says, vodka is the choice of hardcore alcoholics everywhere. See Russia. Well, like I said, maybe. Hardcore alcoholics, that's a lot of money, y'all. So it's just kind of like, you have to have something that can mix with lots of different things, whatever you got in the house. And vodka will do that for you. We do get rum sometimes. That mixes with most things. I don't think we've had too much bad luck with rum, because we bought rum sometimes, and I don't think we've had anything too weird happen, where it's just kind of like, hey, let's pour this in with whatever the fuck we had on hand, and it was like too weird or whatever. Even though rum has its own flavor, but it mixes with most things too. All right, so I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Go ahead and go. Ooh.
Talk to me about booze.
Talking about booze the whole night. What time is it anyway?
I don't know.
Okay. It's 9:04. Yeah, Carolina Reapers. Precious talking about Carolina. I got some out there growing, out in the garden. Carolina Reapers. Thing is I end up just kind of like drying them out in the fucking my little oven and grinding them up. And I don't really have much use for it. I don't make enough chili. That's really what you would use. I also made some hot sauce one time with Carolina Reapers. Actually, I don't think I grow the Carolina Reapers anymore. I used to. I made some hot sauce with it. And it darkened and darkened and fucking... It got hotter and hotter as it went. I eventually threw it out, though. Stop fucking with it. CB talking about Bloody Marys. Yeah, I like Bloody Marys too. And then I remember fucking you can make Bloody Marys with fucking clamato, which is like the clam tomato sauce. That was pretty good. I haven't had one in a long time. It was a good fucking morning drink, like a brunch drink.
What was?
Bloody Mary.
Oh, I love Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
We used to every now and then when we were at Publix, we would buy a big old thing of Zing Zang.
Yeah, Zing Zang. Zing Zang's like Bloody Mary mix, but it has a lot of fucking celery seeds in it.
I like that.
It's hotter. Yeah, it's better.
I like that.
It's better than... CB, if you like fucking Bloody Mary, try to find some Zing Zang.
I mean, they give me heartburn too, but it's worth it. I love Bloody Marys.
It's basically Bloody Mary mixer. It comes in a bottle. It's better though.
Did they sell Zing Zang in the UK?
Oh yeah, I don't know if they sell it in the UK, but they still sell it here. I've seen it.
Yeah, you can just get it at the grocery store. Big ass bottle of it.
Oh, it's great.
Zing Zang. Sounds like a fucking Ted Nugent song.
Yeah.
No, that was Wango's the Tango. Kind of similar. Man, now I want a Bloody Mary.
Yeah, it sounds like I want some Zing Zang.
I haven't had one in like a really long time. Every now and then, like I said, we buy some Zing Zang and like we just have one like on Sunday morning or something, like as a hangover.
The bartender that died you were talking about was one that was giving me Zing Zang.
Yeah.
He's the one that showed it to me.
Yeah.
What was his name again?
Hector.
Hector. Yeah, he got me on the Zing Zang. I drink at least one a night.
He was a cool dude.
So let me give him a Zing Zang. Yeah.
I remember that. That was at wasn't that the Grotto?
Grotto.
That's
no, not the Grotto.
Was it?
Grotto was the one that...
Or Venue 13,
Venue 13.
Yeah, he bartended at Venue 13.
Yeah.
I thought he came over to the Grotto, too, sometimes.
I don't know. Maybe,
but...
I don't think there was enough clientele at fucking Grotto. Grotto was fucking a disaster from day one. It never caught on.
It really didn't. It was kind of like off the beaten path, which was kind of nice, but...
It didn't have hard liquor. It had that fucking bullshit.
It didn't have hard liquor.
And then they lied that they did.
Yeah, that too. It didn't have a consistent vision.
Yeah, it didn't have a consistent vision.
It was mostly a tattoo parlor.
Yeah, and he thought the club going people were stupid, that they wouldn't know the difference between fucking fake alcohol and fucking real alcohol. Because you see, you have there's fucking here in Florida, around the Orlando, especially Orlando, just in Orlando itself. There's a problem with liquor licenses.
They're very expensive.
Some mayor or governor, some shit like that, some chick, her fucking daughter got killed in a drunk driving accident. So she limited the amount of fucking...
I mean, this was a long
time ago. So they limited the amount of liquor licenses they were. They passed a law for that. So the value of a liquor license went up $1 million. So if you wanted to open a new club downtown... You had to either have $1 million and somebody willing to sell their license, which that didn't happen.
Because there were only a limited number.
Because there's a limited number. What would happen is you'd have gangsters who owned them that would rent them to people, to lease their license out to other people. That's how you had to do it. And if you didn't have the money for that, then that means you could only sell beer or wine.
And those like bullshit like cocktails in the can.
Yeah.
Which are not terrible, but...
It's not hard liquor.
No.
So the guy that owned the Grotto went for the... What do they call it? The malt liquor based hard liquor, where it would taste like whiskey, but it was artificial.
Yeah.
It only had the alcohol content of fucking wine. But you could tell that wasn't the real thing. He thought nobody would notice. You know what I mean? Fucking, so he would constantly he thought the crowd was a bunch of idiots. And it was because he was an idiot.
Idiots always think that other people
he's
are
an
idiots.
So
they can't conceive that anyone might be smarter than them.
Yeah, so we worked with them for about 6 months, and that place went out of business. Wasn't it about 6 months, maybe a year?
Yeah, maybe it was longer. Like, I did a bunch of posters for them and stuff like that, but that dude clearly did not know what he was doing.
No.
And he
based the market on what it was like when he was a kid.
Yeah, he didn't know much about the modern goth scene. He didn't really know much about...
He didn't know about the club scene.
No.
He didn't realize that people were smart.
And people tried to tell him shit, but he wouldn't listen because he obviously knew better. And he wasn't like a boomer either. He was like our age, probably.
He was our age. He came from a time here in this area where there were lots of young people in their early 20s that just wanted to party in some kind of a fucking goth or punk rock type hangout, and it didn't have to have hard liquor. That they would just be okay with beer. Mm. That's not the modern audience now. No. They're going to go to a place that has hard liquor.
I mean, some people are, but the goth crowd...
Not enough.
...is not... Some of them are just beer drinkers.
Yeah.
Most of them are hard liquor.
See, what he should have done in that case,
in my experience,
instead of trying to fake the fact that he had a full bar, he should have said, no, we're wine and beer and cider, and focused on that. And,
well, like the Falcon did.
And been honest about it.
And the Falcon is still open.
Yeah, the Falcon's still open. That's what it's known for. Because they would get really good craft beers and really good fucking ciders. That's their whole focus.
So they decided they were going to focus on that.
Yeah,
they didn't have a liquor license.
And they have live shows. We're going fucking to go see fucking Starry Night.
Well, not there. No, at Will's Pub.
It's a Will's Pub.
Yeah.
Well, Will's Pub is a fucking...
Yeah. Although I think Will's Pub has a liquor license.
They have a liquor license now?
They didn't for a long time.
They didn't for a long time,
But I think they do now.
But... Well, we've seen we've seen a Starry Night at the Falcon though too. They played.
We have, yeah. They played there a couple times.
And if you can't get the hard liquor license, you gotta fucking dive into the fact that you don't have that.
Yeah, lean into the beer.
You gotta go lean into beer, wine, and things that are not hard liquor, and you gotta do that shit right.
Yeah, like specialize in it.
Specialize in it. You fucking have craft shit.
Yeah, like shit you can't get anywhere else.
Right, and people come.
Yeah.
And then they'll respect your business.
Because you're not lying to people.
You're not lying to them. Right. If you have some fake whiskey and shit, I get the fuck out of here. And he was charging whiskey prices for that shit. Everybody knows. And
everybody knows.
He was charging whiskey prices for that weak ass shit.
Yeah, he was.
He should have said, no, man, we're going black velvet. You're going to get stout with fucking cider. Look at all these fucking ciders. Look at all these beers. I would have fucking leaned right into that.
Yeah, look at all the creative shit.
Yeah, look, I got fucking locally brewed fucking beer. I got a damn fucking a lager on fucking tap brewed locally. You know, you got to be good, cool with that shit, not piss water.
Yeah.
And they'll buy that.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think people just like, if you have a quote unquote weakness, like you don't have a liquor license.
Yeah.
Then you need to just probably lean into that.
You got to lean into that.
Specialize in something else.
Yeah. Badass wines.
Yeah. Like we have this huge wine selection, or we have this huge beer selection. We have all these local craft beers. We do all these like cool like beer drinks and stuff like that. And it's just kind of like do that. Don't try to like pretend that you have actual liquor because you don't.
There was a wine that that they sold in Boston that you could lean into. It was called in the goth club. It's called Vampire, and it was just a fucking.
Did they still sell that?
It was a Merlot. It was a red Merlot.
I remember seeing it in a liquor store a couple of years back.
Vampire, yeah.
So
and it came in a damn black bottle with a fucking
wrap
around it. Yeah, it looked good. So you can do that, but you have to know what you're doing. You got to know your crowd.
That's business marketing like 101.
Yeah, he could have sold a bunch of Vampire
audience.
Or a bunch of fucking weird shit that was, goth and vampire adjacent fucking black beer stouts and shit,
That's what I mean. Just like I said, cater to the crowd that you want to attract. If you're trying to get into that market and you don't have a liquor license, that's a weakness.
Yeah.
Because like I said, a lot of goths like to drink.
You're going to have to turn that into a strength.
So you have to turn that into a strength, like have some specialty stuff that you can't get anywhere else, like that's catered to that crowd. It's like like I said, that's business 101.
But he wanted to sell piss water and fake shit and cheap shit.
Yeah.
And turn it into something. That's not what you should
do. Well, he was one of those hustly...
He's trying to hustle. Yeah.
Businessy.
Yeah.
MBA type
And he failed. And he failed.
He did.
You can't hustle people that are educated about the market.
Well, the thing about it is that we've been in this scene, as most of the people that we know, for
30 years?
30 years, at least.
They know all the gags.
So it's like you're not bringing us anything new. You're not bamboozling us. We've seen it all, baby. So it's just kind of like you can't pull one over. Yeah. You can't try to do shit. And we know when somebody comes in trying to cater to this crowd that doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
That's very obvious. So that's kind of what he was. He owned tattoo parlors, which is cool. But he wanted to expand out into like the bar and club scene. Yeah. And I don't think he really knew what he was doing.
No, he didn't. Of course he didn't. And he thought he was dealing with a bunch of rubes.
Last that long.
I would have had a couple of house drinks that would have been basically black velvet, a fucking cider, and some kind of a fucking vampire-based fucking Merlot.
Yeah, just like something to go with like the theme.
To go with the theme of what he was trying to do.
So that would like encourage people to get that because like.
And the black velvet I would have served would have been on tap. A tap fucking black beer and a tap fucking cider together. And don't offer a whole bunch of shit. Offer like 6-7 different things that they can drink.
Well, like I said, as Gordon Ramsay has shown on his many shows, limited menu is always better. You can't give people too many choices. Like they'll glitch out. Yeah. Which I get.
They won't make a decision. Just give them like 6 different things that are fucking great.
Yeah, just give them like 6 good things to choose from. Yeah. You know? You don't have to have like 50,000 things. Yeah. It's too stressful. You know? And like I said, have everything on brand.
Yep. Everything has to be on point, on brand.
Like I said, people did try to tell him that, but he didn't want to listen because, of course, he knew better.
Yeah, and that's why he went out of business.
He clearly did not know better because that shit is not there anymore. It was like...
I could have run that shit fucking off. He was trying to do live music venue in that little place. No, that's not how you do that.
Well, it was a cool place. I liked that it was like off... It used to be a gay bar.
It was better as a gay bar.
It was better as a gay bar.
Me and Jen went to go see a girl that we knew dance at that place.
Yeah, we did go there when it was a gay bar. Yeah. And then when he took it over, we were like, that's kind of cool. And we used to go like whenever they had it. But like, it was cool because it was little. It was pretty classy. Like I said, it had a tattoo parlor in the front, and then it was like a bar and like a little, live venue kind of situation in the back. And he got some good DJs from Orlando and stuff, but it's just like, and it's off the beaten path, which is good. It was still downtown, but it was like a couple blocks over, like a block or two over from like the main drag. So, you could go there. It was kind of safe. But he didn't really know what to do with it. I don't really think he didn't really have like a vision for it. He didn't have like a theme. He didn't have... I don't know. Like I said, I feel like he didn't know what he was. He was just like a business dude. Yeah. Who didn't really have much background. Like, I think he did grow up in this area, and he was kind of like tangentially involved in the scene from the day, but he wasn't really like involved in it still, like in the day-to-day.
No, he was seeing it as it was back in the 80s.
And I think he was still seeing it as it was back then. And it's not the same.
Full Metal Nosferatu says that his family makes fucking Bloody Marys with a slice of pickle in it. Fucking with pickle base. That'd be
really my God, that would be really good.
Yeah. I love pickles. A little bit of pickle juice in it. Be good, yeah.
I think we've done that before. I know there was a big thing for a minute where they were doing like pickle juice martinis. Yeah. Which sounds kind of gross, but I'm like...
No, they were good.
I don't know. I would drink that.
Yeah.
I love pickles. I love pickle juice. And I'm not usually one to... I'm not super into like tart stuff, but I love pickles. So that'd probably be really good. Let me see. CB said a new cocktail bar opened in my town and wanted £15 per drink. And the whole town was like, fuck you. Yeah, I don't know what the standard is across the industry. Because, like I said, in the U.S. is very big, and it's just kind of like, obviously, prices are different wherever you are. I feel like where we go, the drinks we get, which are mid-shelf vodka and tequila, they're $8 or $9 per. Something more specialty, like I said, like a coffee martini, something like that, it's more like $12 to $14 per. But those are good. But that's like a treat kind of thing. The only reason we ended up paying $200 that one night was because Tom just tasted one that somebody had and was like, I'm getting those. And he was drunk and he's like, didn't think about it. So he just kept ordering them. And nobody told him that they were like $14 each. And then like, so when he got the thing at the end of the night, he's like, oops, So yeah, it was a lot. They were good though. But I don't remember much about that night after a certain time. I remember I had a good time. That was about it. But like I said, I kind of feel like I want to, like, I love to drink, but I also feel like I want to drink slightly less because the next day I never remember. I was like, I remember I had fun, but I don't remember exactly, like, everything. Like, I'll remember, like, bits and pieces of, like, conversations I had or shit that happened or whatever. But it's like, I don't really remember much of what happened. And it's like, that's kind of a bummer. So, I don't know.
Over the years, me and Jen have been involved in so many fucking projects, so many clubs around here. Remember that one, it was about the time me and you first started hanging out. Paul, V13, was doing it. It was downtown.
Yeah.
And they were watering the drinks down bad as a motherfucker in there.
Was that,
and it was a nice place. It was
Lyrica?
Lyrica. I think it was Lyrica, yeah. It was a nice place. You go in there, it was big, and it was kind of like upscale.
That was a nice venue.
Kept getting all these complaints from all the fucking customers, man, and fucking weak-ass drinks, this and that. And I was like, no, it tastes normal to me, But guess what I was ordered was... And then later on, Paul was like, oh, no, yeah, that place was going out of business, man. Fucking the bartenders were stealing money out of the till.
Yeah, that was
and then fucking adding water to the fucking fifths that were up on the fucking thing.
I remember Lyrica because...
So the owners wouldn't know.
Yeah. There was a whole thing that came out
They were stealing money out of the till.
Venue 13 was there. It wasn't that long that it was there. It was a good venue, though. It was massive.
Yeah.
It had like a couple floors, and it was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
And that was before I knew you.
Yeah.
Kind of.
We were just starting to... We
just had met, I think.
Yeah. That's where I met Laura Ross there. And that's where I met Aurora. At that place. Yeah.
Lyrica. That was the name of that place.
Right. I think we just started to hang out towards the end of that.
Yeah, because I remember I was
working at the barn, remember?
Yeah. I remember I knew you then because that was where a couple of times I hung out with that dude that kind of low-key stalked me later and told me what a piece of shit you were.
Yeah, yeah.
But fair play to him. I'm not going to like shit on him. I'm not going to say what his name is. But fair play to him. He did a couple of years later come up and like legit face-to-face like apologize.
Yeah, making shit up about me. Yeah.
He's like, man, I judged you wrong.
Me.
Like it, yeah. Which I respect
just trying
that.
to get the pussy, because he's gonna do these.
Well, yeah, like I respect that though. That he was like he understood that it's just like, hey, like he was just being shitty because he wanted to get at me.
Yeah. And
he didn't like that I liked you and blah blah blah. But he did have the balls to come forward and say, man, I'm sorry. He did like come up to your face.
He came up and says, look, man, I'm sorry that we had problems.
He did that.
So we had problems. I didn't have a problem with you because yeah, you're right. I had a problem with you. He says, yeah. Yeah, he admitted that shit. I never problem with you.
So the fact that he did that, that's really that says a lot in my book. Because most dudes would not do that.
And he disappeared.
And he was all right. He doesn't come out anymore. He's a bit older than we are. He's very old school.
He was older than us?
A little bit, a couple years.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Like he's only a year. Well, he's maybe your age or maybe a year or two older.
I think he's probably my age.
He's like very old school punk rock, so he is like doesn't like any new shit at all. And got offended by it, which like okay, I get it, but it's just kind of like, you got to be flexible. But he wasn't real. I don't know. He wasn't real like aggressive or real mean about it. Like I said, he didn't stalk me necessarily, but he would like text me like 30 times a day. That for sure.
Then they're talking about the damn Guinness Stout in the can with the little fucking ping pong ball in there. You pulled it, it would be like draft beer.
Yeah.
They still let here.
I don't remember ever having one of those.
It's just stout. And it's kind of like draft.
Oh, okay. That's pretty funny. Yeah, CB said when people don't know what they're doing, that's what you see on Bar Rescue. Which is kind of like Kitchen Nightmares, but for bars.
Yeah, that'd probably be good to see.
I saw a couple of them back in the day.
Yeah.
And they were pretty fun. Yeah, I just kind of feel like it's kind of the same thing as Kitchen Nightmares. Every stupid motherfucker thinks they can run a bar or a restaurant.
I could run a bar.
You could.
I could run a bar, yeah.
You could probably run a restaurant, too.
I could run a restaurant.
Because you've actually worked in restaurants.
I've worked in them, and I know that restaurants are something you don't want to own. You actually don't want anything to do with that.
No, you do not.
And if you don't want anything to do with that, then you can run one. Because you know how fucked up it is to run a damn restaurant. It's the worst. It consumes
your entire life.
Yeah.
Probably more than any other business, I would argue.
It becomes your life. Yeah, you don't want to be a restaurant.
No.
I'm too old. Owning a restaurant's really and running a restaurant's a young man's game. It just it destroys you. A bar, a lot easier. All you need is booze.
A lot less factors to.
You need booze, location, booze, ambiance, titties,
bouncers.
Depending
on what kind.
Depends on what it is. Yeah.
Our place doesn't really have bouncers because you don't really need them, but it's like some place.
I'm the fucking bouncer.
Some places. Some places like ours, we're our own bouncers.
Yeah.
If somebody caused some shenanigans, we're going to kick your ass out on our own.
Man, I got so mad last time we went to I didn't say anything to you last time.
What happened?
We went into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And you go into the men's room, and there's a room there with 2 doors. And each one of those doors, it goes to a toilet.
Yeah.
All right.
Like a normal
I was in there, fucking... Shit keeps happening to me. I go in there, shut the door, lock it, take a piss, and then boom, somebody pulls the door open because the locks aren't that solid. And I turn around and I go,
happens.
I said, "What's up, man?" I go, "Oh." And I said, "No, come on inside. Come in. No, come in, dude. You want to suck cock? Come in. You can suck the cock." And he's like, no. So I fucking finished my shit up, and he's waiting. And I said, "Dude, I know you're trying to come in and get some fucking dick." Well, he said, "No, I'm not." And I said, "What the fuck you trying to come in? Why you saw the door was shut? You want to get fucked?" No. And I says, "I'll fuck you." And he got mad and walked out because he couldn't fight me.
I always wonder.
Why are you trying to force a damn door open? It's just men back there, pecker in hand. Are you trying to suck cock? I mean, if you're gay and you're trying to suck cock, I totally understand it.
Okay.
If you want to be straight and then deny that you're trying to suck my cock, then I'm going to get pissed. You know what I mean? Fucking, come over here.
Well, here's the thing, because it happens in the ladies' room, too. You'd be in the ladies' room, because at the old iBar, they had they had some bathrooms upstairs that were, like, regular with stalls. But the ones downstairs were just like a single person. They had like a ladies' room and a men's room on either side of the door, and they were single. So it's like you go in there, you go to the bathroom, and inevitably, some cunt
try to
open. I'm like, bitch, what do you think is happening?
Why do you think the fucking door is shut? Right.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah. Why do they do that?
I don't understand
They think that are they trying to hurry it up?
Yes. I was like, well... Joke's on you because now I'm going to take even longer just to spite you.
Yeah.
Because stop it. You know what I mean? It's like, why? I don't understand.
Dude was your average fucking maybe like 165 pound, 5'7" doughboy. All right. Which he probably thinks he's bigger and tougher than fucking the average dude in there. So he's just kind of muscle his way into the fucking John. But a dude like me is going to think you're trying to muscle your way into a cock. Yeah, and if you want to suck cock, I'm going to let you suck the cock. And then I'm going to fucking pull your pants down and go balls deep into your fucking booty. All right? I'm the top when it comes to this shit. I'm the man, you're the woman. If you're not a woman, then why are you chasing me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get it.
So I don't understand what this... And I pressed him, he fucking broke and ran.
Yeah.
Because he thought it was going to be just a normal dude behind that door. No, it's fucking me. a trained fighter and professional soldier. You're going to get fucked in the booty.
Psychopath.
And a psycho. I'm going to fuck you in the ass. You know, I'm going to fuck you right in the ass.
Well, like I said,
take pictures of it and shit and everything. You know what I mean? Show your family. Look at me fucking your dad. I'm fucking your dad.
Yeah. He'll post it on your social
media. Yeah, I'll put it on the... Yeah, me fucking you. I ain't ashamed. Because I'm not gay. When I'm making you my bitch, how could a woman like you ever be a man next to me? It's heterosexuality. Average motherfucker, average dude is a chick compared to me, especially when you do blood chemistry tests. My testosterone level's like 3 times that of a normal man. So the difference between him and a woman is actually less than the difference between me and him. Y'all are both women compared to me. Which that's hard for y'all bitches to get in your mind. That compared to me, you're a woman. You know? And it's not gay if I fuck you in the booty. It's just a man doing what he does. It's just you coming face to face with your nature and your destiny.
Well, like I said,
that's what it is. CB's loving this shit.
CB's
all my gay fans are loving this. I'm gonna put my fucking BDSM fucking leather daddy hat on.
Yeah,
I'll be your daddy.
You were showing me that earlier.
Up in the men's room.
I seriously do not understand people that rattle the doorknob.
Yeah, why are they trying to fight to get to my
I say that every single time.
They're trying to fight
to
get
no,
my
they
cock.
do it to me too.
That's titties.
Women do it too.
That's titties.
Women do it too.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like, I understand that they're trying to hurry me up. But like I said, if you try to hurry me up,
yeah,
then I'm just going to go slower.
Yeah.
Because fucking knock it off.
Yeah.
You're just being a cunt.
Charles Gore says, Tom, don't tease with your sweet mouth. You
didn't even tell me about that happening last week.
That kind of happens normally. That's happened many times. It's just normal to me.
Well, like I said.
But the thing is that those bitches are too scared to say anything afterwards, and I never see them again. I think I drive them out of there.
Well, when they see you.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what they're expecting.
You open up that door and the devil's standing on the other side.
I don't know what they're expecting. It's like I said, I don't understand why people rattle the fucking door. Like, clearly it's locked.
Yeah.
Clearly there's someone in there.
It's a power play.
It's occupied. Yeah, and I don't like that. I don't like power plays.
It's a power play.
Especially something as petty as that.
Yeah.
It's like, look, I'm taking a piss.
Yeah.
As we all have to do from time to time. And it's just kind of like, if you just sit there and rattle the fucking door and I'm trying to hurry me up, I'm just going to go slower on purpose. Just to piss you off.
Y'all have to understand something. I fucking ran all my fucking vital statistics and everything through AI. As far as men go on a global level, I'm fucking in the top 1 percentile for fucking physical performance and conditioning. For my age, I'm top 0.03% of the global population. All right. And you factor in so there's nobody really there are very few dudes like me. And when I come across dudes that are like me, we bond. We're like, yeah, what's up, brother? Yeah, because we're kind of like a separate species, you know. And you got normal dudes running around acting fucking crazy. And here's the thing, all this gangster shit, like we got, we have fucking constitutional carry here. Everybody's got guns. I got those too. And I'm specialized in that. So guns won't save you. If you jump into the gun arena with me, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm good. I raised with them. I'm not as good as fucking say like Wild Bill. Wild Bill was fucking, he was a legend. And I believe a lot of the stories of what Wild Bill could do. Because he would do that shit in front of audiences. Some of these trick shots and shit. But now when I'm drunk, I'm not quite as tuned, but it's just, I'm not to be fucked with. And the dudes that would fuck with me are going to be friends with me. Because I'm not in a fish tank, I'm in a shark tank. That's a good way to put it, I guess, you know what I mean? Fucking the dudes that are real threats hang out with me. They tend not to fight. Because it's too risky. And those dudes aren't insecure. We're happy to see other dudes like us.
Yeah.
We're not bitchy.
Like I said,
Jenny, isn't it true? Every fucking jacked dude in the club fucking comes up and fucking gives me a hug. Fucking, hey, what's up? Yeah. I go to the biker bar, the big motherfuckers and shit. Hey, what's up? They want to hang out. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well, that's kind of how it works.
That's how it works.
Like I said, it's only for some reason.
Yeah.
It's only like weird white doughy people.
Well, yeah.
They want to fuck like
Doughboys.
they think they're
more than they are.
Something.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly, but like they think they're something.
Well, he was kind of a doughboy dude in his 50s, subpar. And I could tell he was, by his conditioning and the way he was built, he was always subpar. But maybe he was a sports fan. And it was funny about some of these jocks that are like I knew that fucking... My boy, fucking, when he's here, we went to high school together. We were friends with jocks, but they were real jocks. Those guys were okay. The dudes that were always fucking the shitty dudes were dudes that wanted to be jocks, but they couldn't be jocks. Yeah. All right.
They just watch sports.
They just watch sports.
And think they could, like, do shit in real life.
Yeah. What they're doing is...
They peaked in high school.
They peaked in high school, and a lot of that shit is...
I know those types.
It's covert homosexuality / hero worship. They fucking idolize these dudes playing these games, playing with balls in these tight fucking pants and shit. You know what I mean? They don't look like that. But for some reason, they don't look like that. They can't do that shit. But for some reason, they identify with these dudes. And they think that they're badasses because they identify with these. No, dude. You're a cock worshiper. That's what it actually is. You're a cock worshiper.
Yeah.
You worship that type of fucking... masculinity. I understand that, but that ain't you.
But you can't.
You can't do that, and you can't throw your weight around like you're a badass because you like those dudes. Yeah. That's some crazy shit.
It doesn't work like that.
They sit around, drink beer to get fat, and then think that they're badasses.
Like I said, they sit around their lazy boy.
They sit on lazy boy. Yeah. I don't understand.
Watching sports on ESPN.
No.
And think that they can do the same shit that the athletes on TV are doing.
Yeah.
Like they go out in the real world and try to do that. They're going to get punched right in the dick.
Jen knows
every time. By me, probably.
As a professional soldier, professional adventurer, security contractor, fucking semi-criminal and shit, okay?
Semi-criminal?
Yeah. Might be a criminal, okay? And fucking professional fighter. Jen will tell you, I am in constant training. This is dedication, the shit that I do. What I am always thinking about some kind of drug I have to take, some kind of training thing of fucking building weight.
Yeah, it's pretty much your whole day.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Okay? My next thing is I fucking really want to get into MMA. At 55, I want to get into MMA. We got a place here. Because I don't really have formalized hand-to-hand training outside of the military.
That might be good.
The military had formal hand-to-hand. We used to fuck around a lot in there. Confidence has a lot to do with it, and your ability to mind-body connection and dancing and shit. Jen's seen me fight. I'm good. But man, I don't have a ground game and the wrestling part of it. I'd like to learn
that might be something you might want to get into.
I can punch and shit. Now, fucking my buddy, fucking Little Swole, he's like a machine gun. He can knock out 2 dudes in seconds.
And you'd never
know looking at him.
No. He's like a stealth motherfucker.
Yeah. And that was because his older brothers were professional boxers.
Yeah.
And they used him as a fucking sparring partner.
So he got...
And he grew up as a punching bag for his older brothers. And he's fucking good.
Yeah,
and
like I said, you would never
know
by looking at him, but he could, like, legit knock out 2 or 3 dudes.
He makes videos of him going...
Much bigger than...
And he's fast.
Well, he's done it in real life.
Yeah.
He knocked out 3 dudes at the pizza place behind High Park.
Yep.
That fucked with him.
Yep.
And he's like small.
He's my size. He's my size, but he's 30.
Maybe my height.
He's maybe your height. He's a couple inches shorter than me, and
he's a little guy.
Maybe 30 pounds lighter, and he doesn't have like muscle, but he's fast.
He knocked 3 of them out.
Fast, and he's very skilled. And a lot of fighting has to do with it, cardiovascular endurance. He doesn't get tired.
No.
Me, because of the way my fucking body mass is and everything, I have to get business done quickly, or I'll start slowing down. Even when I was lighter, fighting hard for 5-6 minutes is fucking hard, man. It's like you ran a damn mile.
It is. Yeah.
You know, I fucking gotten into fights with dudes and fucking 15, 20 minutes in it, we're both like, oh, fuck it. Okay. We're just too fucking tired anymore. We're fucking too tired to fucking continue anymore. All right, man. Fucking.
That's probably how I feel.
That happened a lot in the army, fighting each other. Fist fighting. Because we fight in the army all the time. Just little shit. Let me go get you in the... We just beat each other into exhaustion.
It's so early.
We're just too fucking tired, man.
Victor says, I love cock worshippers.
Yeah, of course. Of course. There's a lot of clandestine cock worshippers out there.
There are.
Yeah, they don't
I mean, cocks are nice. You know? I mean, aesthetically, I don't know. It depends on the cock, I guess. But it's like aesthetically, they're not as nice as pussies, but some of them are pretty nice looking. Some of them are kind of weird looking, though. Gonna say. Just depends. Depends on the person. Gotta say. Psycho here says, gotta get into Pilates, build that flexibility and muscle endurance. Yeah, I should probably get back into that. Like I said, I've been meaning to get back into like yoga and shit. I do weightlifting and some cardio and stuff, but I don't know.
Here you go.
One of these days. Like I said, I used to do dance. I used to do ballet.
I was trying to get her to get back into dance. You need some more dance training too.
I would probably like that, actually.
Yeah. I would like to send you to one of these girls so you could get pole dance. Because
that may be fun.
Because it looks good on the dance floor, and it involves kind of like lifting weights, because there's a lot of shit you got to do on a pole. It takes strength. Yeah, I know. And you have the strength now. So I want you to actually do pole dancing.
Yeah, I might. Like I said, something like that. Or like I said, something yoga or something like that. Zach says, is dancing considered exercise? Yes, it is. Well, depending on what kind of dance. If you just do like the standard white person dance of standing in one place and kind of shuffling from side to side, that's not really exercise. I mean, it's better than just sitting on your butt in a lazy boy, but probably not really exercise. Kind of dance I do is exercise, but I don't really know. Dance is considered exercise, though. I used to do when I was younger.
See, gymnast. What? You need pole dancing that'll tie into your gymnastics background and shit.
Yeah.
And fucking, I'm gonna look for a local teacher around here. There's got to be somebody that's doing pole dancing class. I'll take you there.
But I used to do a class that was 4 parts, and the first part was ballet, and then you did tap. Like, you did ballet for half an hour, you did tap for half an hour, you did acrobatics for half an hour, and then you did jazz for half an hour, which is like modern dance. So I had like a 2-hour class, like once a week. And that was super, super fun. That was when I was preteen, probably. And I had a lot of fun doing that. But like I said, I went to it for a while, but then my parents couldn't afford it anymore, So, but I had a good time doing that. But I got like, because I was like super flexible, I was like really good at the acrobatics and stuff. I used to be able to do like back bends and back handsprings and backflips and all kind of stuff. I used to be able to do all that kind of stuff. I could probably still do it nowadays if I practice, but I'd kind of be afraid to like hurt myself. Because, I'm like in my 50s now. I'm in okay shape, but I don't know. You never know. Like something bad might happen. Full Metal Nosferatu says, yoga I highly recommend. I've been at it for 6 years now, and I always look forward to it. Yeah, I mean, that's probably something that I need to get into. I know I've talked about that a lot, but I should probably do that. CB says, the pole in pole dancing was to stop the guys from pulling girls off the stage. Oh, I believe it. And Camp Guy says, dancing is great exercise.
Yeah,
just about any type of dance. Yeah, and like I said, the type of dance I do at Barbarella, I feel like I get tired, and my legs are sore the next day. So it's like, obviously I'm doing something.
I'd like to get you in some kind of class, pole dancing class, that would tie in with more modern dance, first of all, and then gymnastics.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of gymnast shit that you could do. You have a gymnast background.
Yeah.
And you're on gear. Yeah. Which means that your body would respond real well to that training. And then you could use that at the club.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Fucking, because new moves and new rhythms and shit. And fucking, a better mind-body connection, and all that shit helps with physical development and longevity. And the more active you are under the influence of the fucking drugs that we take, the better you age. You know.
Yeah.
We're gonna die, but we're gonna die late, and we're gonna look good when we die.
I would hope.
Yeah, we're gonna look good when we die.
Unless we get hit by a bus or something.
I looked at all the dudes that came before me that are doing what I'm doing, and yeah, they were all jacked when they died. They were old. You know, you can live into your 70s, 80s. And they're, with each passing year, the ones that are dying are looking better. Like Jack LaLanne, he died in his 90s. He didn't look that good because he wasn't on test. I think he was on Anavar, but he wasn't on test.
But still, he was in his 90s.
Yeah, he looked good, pretty good for his 90s.
He didn't get fat either.
He looked good all the way into his 70s.
Yeah.
There are dudes now in their 70s that look better than me, physically. More lean, more muscle on them. And, you know, they were like that for 30 years, 20, 30 years. So there's a big difference between a teenage dude doing what I'm doing when he's starting and then trying to go the long haul, or a dude who starts in his 40s and 50s. It's a different pattern because anabolics can kind of fucking burn up a lot of the fuel in your gas tanks, especially if you do a lot of it when you're real young. But if you do it as part of anti-aging therapy later on, you turn out a lot better.
I mean, you always want as much quality life as you can get.
Yeah, exactly. And you can't be sedentary.
Well, yeah, I'm almost 53, and it's just like, I don't really
you look great. Yeah.
feel like that.
I still feel like
I don't feel like an old person. I know all old people say that, but
I feel like I'm in my early 30s.
Like, I don't have the thing where, you know how a lot of old people are like, oh, my back, this and that. Like, I have a little bit of that, but not really.
Yeah.
Not really. Like, I still feel pretty okay.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't feel like I have weird pains every now and then, but it's like nothing.
Well, you're on Nandrolone.
That too.
Nandrolone's really good for your joints.
Yeah. So, I still have problems with my knees, but I've had that since I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
So it's not any worse than it was back then.
Right.
So.
What's everybody saying?
They're saying dancing is great exercise. Yeah. Zach says I love swimming. Yeah, swimming is actually very, very, very good exercise.
Yeah, it's good cardio. Good.
And it's very low impact. You know, it's not really bad on your joints. I did like a lot of I did some swimming classes and stuff like in college. And yeah, swimming will fucking wear you out.
Yeah. It
doesn't seem like it would be like that strenuous, but it actually is. But like I said, it's really low impact.
You want a mixture of everything, though.
Yeah, it's good to do like lots of different things.
The core is weightlifting. That'll actually change your shape. And then you want something that's like something that would give you good aerobics on top of that, running or swimming. Something like that. Swimming has a little bit of kind of like weightlifting with it.
Yeah, because you're pushing against
against stuff.
Like a force.
But it doesn't make the kind of body that you would win Mr. Universe or anything. You know.
Swimmers tend to be leaner.
Lean. It'll make you be lean.
Yeah. Which, like I said, it's all depends on like what you want. I do like swimming though, but we don't really have anywhere to. We don't. You know, our neighborhood doesn't have a pool. Our last one did, but this one does not. I mean, I used to like the apartment I lived in before we moved in together had a pool, and I used to go swimming up and down. I used to do laps in that all the time, but you know, we don't have a pool here for some reason. I don't know why. They have so many other amenities. They have a golf course.
There should be a gym
and
here.
A lake. There should be a gym and a pool, you would think, but there's not.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. My old shit had that, but we don't have it here. Camp Guy said I like hiking, swimming, bike riding with the wife, taking long walks and gardening. Yeah, like all of that. Like as long as you're not just sitting around. You know what I mean? John Gora said my old man was a musclehead when young, then picked it up again between 40 to 60. He was more jacked than De Niro in Cape Fear.
Yeah.
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 You can,
is he still alive or did he die? And what was he like when he died?
Hi, Pokey.
Because I've been fucking doing all the research on dudes that fucking got big and looked great. And what were they like when they died? Most of them looked great when they died. And then they didn't die of things that were... People going, well, taking all that gear and fucking all that testosterone, it'll fuck up your heart. No. That can happen with abuse, but that's not what mostly they die from. They die from the same shit that other people die from. Cancer. Things like that.
Cancer will get everybody if you live long enough.
Yeah, cancer. And they look great, though. And then the cancer fucking whittles them away. Or fucking all of a sudden, a dude has a brain embolism.
It happens.
And dies. But
like I said, I had an uncle that died of 32 of that shit. Yeah. And he was fit. He was in good shape and everything. Yeah. He just dropped dead.
Yeah. And then you look at the dude, you go, he died of a brain embolism. You look at him, and he looks like he's in great shape. And then you go like, well, he was 77. You know what I mean? He looked better than my dad. My dad fucking died around 77. And he was, a shell of what he looked like before. Diabetes just ate him up. But a lot of these dudes, fucking, they look better than me. Like 77 when they die. So it's better quality life.
Yeah. I mean, you can't prevent everything, obviously.
Something could happen to you.
Because obviously, like, just some random shit could happen to you. Like I said, I had an uncle that died at 32 from a brain tumor.
Yeah.
And he was in good shape. There wasn't any reason for it. Yeah. It just happened.
I just noticed that.
And we've had friends that died. A friend of ours that was a girl that...
Pretty girl.
She died at 28.
Yeah, from a brain hemorrhage.
Of a brain tumor.
Yeah. You'd never know.
And you would never... She wasn't fat. She wasn't unhealthy. Yeah. Nothing.
Another pretty goth chick, dead, in her 20s, fucking had fucking cancer and uterine cancer, just fucking ate her all up from the inside. And then fucking little Cady died of fucking...
Yeah, she was
bowel cancer. Just
4. I think she was 34.
Right.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's not great, but you can't prevent everything.
Yeah.
But you can, like, try to stave off... Because some things are preventable.
Yeah.
And
I was looking at extreme cases. I was studying what happened to pro bodybuilders from the 70s. What happened to them eventually? Well, they died. Okay, but what were they like when they died? Most of them died pretty good. There was no convalescence. Like, they never were like old men on walkers. Like, that never really happened to them. Just cancer hit them, and they were struck down in a matter of months and killed. Brain hemorrhage, shit like that. Had a heart attack, but it was just like the dude's in his 70s. People in their 70s have heart attacks.
They do.
So it's not like an early heart attack. They tended to actually die a little bit later than average for their time.
Well,
they did pretty good.
What is the male average nowadays?
I think it's only like 75.
I thought it used to be 78, but it might be less than that.
It's gone down a little bit. I think because of immigration.
I don't think that's why. Because our healthcare sucks. I think that's probably why.
Well, no, you have people coming in here that fucking...
Well, that too, but it's just
from the third world that don't have any fucking...
also, it doesn't help that our
healthcare sucks. It fucks up the average. They die at 40 or 35, and it, Also, I think people that die of drug overdoses also affect the averages. So, I think that's factored in there.
Maybe. I guess it would depend on what they were measuring for.
Yeah.
Race
is a factor too, because some people fucking are more prone to diabetes, and diabetes will fucking kill you. Your diabetes runs real fucking strong in black people.
Diabetes, a lot of...
And Southerners.
It's very, it's very strong in my family also. Yeah. My grandfather had it. My dad had it. And that's why I'm always, like, for a long time, when I had insurance, I would always go every year and get checked for that and for high cholesterol.
I'm convinced that diabetes is 100% or damn near 100% linked to diet. It's diet.
Some
people are not tolerant of these fucking extravagant diets. And
I don't eat the way my dad or my grandfather.
Yeah, the way they ate. They ate so much sugar.
Like I did when I was younger, because I didn't really have much choice. Yeah. You just ate what they fed you. But when you got older, like when I got older and got married and did my own thing, I didn't eat the same shit that they ate.
Yeah, mid to low income Southern diet is carbohydrates. It's fucking potatoes, rice,
not great,
pasta, fucking bread, fucking then there's gonna be sodas, grease. And then there's gonna be
everything is like sugar.
Everything is sugar upon sugar upon sugar, and then a lot of fat, a lot of bacon grease. Yeah, the main protein is bacon, bacon and barbecue.
Which is good. Pig. I love that shit. Oh, yeah, we eat that too, every now and then, but not every day though.
The thing is though, is that the pig in pork and bacon, that's nowhere near as bad as all that carbohydrates, all that fucking pasta, all that fucking bread, everything deep fried with some kind of batter on it, and breading on the outside of it.
Yeah.
And then fucking.
You can't eat like that.
You can't eat like that. That's all sugar.
To live a long time.
Yeah, you're fucking. Your body has to produce a shit ton of insulin to try to fucking break all that shit down. That you're gonna. And if you're not real active, you're not fucking. You're living a sedentary lifestyle. Your system can't fucking.
No, it's like what are you doing, bro?
Yeah. What are you doing? It's gonna overload your fucking insulin production system, and you're gonna die. You're going to become diabetic and die.
Diabetes is rampant in that generation, like I said.
And it was diet.
Yeah. But like I said, it ran in my family. That's why they always checked me for it when I had insurance, because my dad had it, my grandfather had it. Yeah. He didn't die of it, but it was one of the things that, he also had emphysema.
Yeah.
He also had a brain tumor. He smoked for 40 years. He had a lot lot of problems.
Yeah, diabetes basically killed my dad.
Yeah.
That's what did it. The diabetes fucked his heart up so bad, and his heart had so many bypasses, and then over time, he lost all that weight. He couldn't keep any teeth in his head because his fucking blood flow wasn't good enough. And, just all his teeth fell out. And he took insulin and did all that shit, but it's not enough. He was also
too little, too late.
It's too little, too late, and he's still kind of eating pretty much the way he wants to eat, which is all that fucking carbs. And eventually, you can only do so much with these heart bypasses and shit. You know what I mean? His heart gave out.
I mean, it's better. Like I said, it's better to just kind of try and prevent the shit.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than having to fix it later on down the line.
Just be aware that. Understand what carbohydrates are.
I'm just glad that. Look, I have my vices nowadays, like drinking. I do like to drink, but I didn't drink my whole life. I only started drinking later.
Yeah.
I didn't really drink in my 20s or 30s all that much. I didn't smoke in my 20s or 30s.
If you're good at
all. So it's just I only started the vices later on. So I ate like shit when I was a kid, but in my 20s, when I married and got out of the house, I started eating what I wanted to eat, which was better shit than that.
We evolved to eat meat and green vegetables. All right, we didn't evolve to eat all these fucking processed flour-based, agricultural-based things
not
like
great.
Bread and pasta and fucking.
I mean, it's good. I love pasta.
But we didn't evolve to eat all that.
No, you didn't.
And your body's gonna have to make a lot of insulin to combat that. When we go to the fucking Chinese buffet, we're basically getting meat.
I get meat
I love and the vegetables.
I love noodles.
Yeah.
And I love
that shit too, but that's bad for you.
I just get meat and
you
vegetables.
Can get a little bit, but a lot of meat, a lot of green vegetables, a lot of broccoli, a lot of fucking chicken and the beef and
shrimp and
my fucking, instead of getting a bunch of noodles and shit, I'll go get an egg roll, because that wrapper on there is a noodle. And that's carbohydrates, but inside's a bunch of vegetables, a little bit of pork. You know what I mean? And I mostly just want it because I eat the mustard, that fucking hot mustard. It's so just knowing what it is. We came from a generation where they had this food pyramid where you had all the breads and the pastas at the bottom and a little bit of meat at the top. That is an absolute lie.
That's backwards.
Should be backwards. It's the other way. You need a shit ton of meat, a little bit of bread on top. The reason why they taught you that when we were kids is because that's what big food was making.
Yeah, and they're like, y'all need to eat a lot of this.
Y'all need to eat. This is what we make. This is what we're selling to you. So this is what you should eat. Yeah. So they've always lied to us.
This is good for you.
This is good for you. No, it's not.
Because I remember the food pyramid, and they were telling you most of your diet should be carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates and grains,
which is absolutely
wrong.
The opposite.
You're right.
Of what you should be eating.
Most of your diet should be protein And
should
water.
be protein and vegetables.
Yeah.
It should be the main
water.
thing. You can eat carbs. They're not going to kill you. But that should be like the little pointy thing.
Yeah, that's more like your dessert.
Yeah. You know? And I love pasta too. I will eat pasta all day long.
I'll eat a whole bowl of pasta. I love it.
I love it too.
That shit is terrible for you. Your system was not made to digest that. It fucks your blood all up.
Although for some reason the Italians get away with it.
I don't think they do. Well, they drink a lot of red wine.
Yeah, that helps.
They don't have. They don't. They're not driving everywhere. They're doing a lot of. They're walking.
Well, and the thing about it too.
I don't think they overeat.
One thing that's exactly what I was gonna say, because when I was, and I don't know how it is nowadays, when I was in the UK in the early 2000s, the portion sizes there are significantly smaller. Than US, and all of them commented if they had been to the United States, which a lot of them had, and they were just kind of like, man, you go to a restaurant, it's like, that's like enough for 3 people. I can't eat all of that.
Pasta's cheap. So in the United States,
so it's like they don't understand. Like, it's like, oh my God, they give you so much food. I can't eat all that. That's like for 3 or 4 people, and they're giving it to one person. So their portion sizes are much smaller, and their portion sizes are actually more like what you probably should be eating. Rather than
fish. And
if you go to an American restaurant, they will give you, because even me, and I was grown up here, I go to a restaurant, they give me a portion, I can't eat all of that. I usually take most of it. I usually take half of it home. Because I can't eat it all.
You give pasta to a Southerner, okay, white or black, that portion's gonna be fucking huge. He's gonna have a fucking salad bowl. I know, because I used to eat that.
It's massive.
I would eat that way, like a salad bowl full of fucking pasta with a bunch of fucking sauce on it, some meatballs in it. You know what I mean? And you're just gonna gorge on it. Why? Because it's cheap.
And it's there.
It's cheap. It's there.
It's right.
Boy, look at all that shit I ate. I'm full now. I'm full. You know. Southerners fucking are into getting full. They're fat too.
And the weird thing about it is that, and you probably had this too. My grandmother, who was from Tennessee, and she was skinny her whole life up until she died. I don't think she weighed any more than 120 pounds than when she died. And when she was 120 pounds, she thought she was getting fat. She was skinny her whole life.
Genetics.
She had really good. I wish I had got those genes, but I did not.
A lot of Asians have that gene.
I got my mom's side of the genes, which were like the chubby gene.
A lot of Asians have special genes to allow them to produce a lot of insulin.
Yeah, I think that she probably had that.
They make a lot of insulin. That is because they evolved eating rice.
I don't know, her background was Native American. Her dad was Blackfeet, Indian.
Well, it doesn't matter.
I don't know what happened before that, but like I said, she stayed skinny her whole life. So much so that when she was younger, she told me, she's like, I was so thin that they used to try to make me gain weight by feeding me beer and milkshakes and all this other stuff, and it didn't work.
Well, it doesn't really have that much to do with...
It didn't work.
The gene that does that...
I was like, man, I wish I got that gene. I did not.
The gene that does that is a gene that makes you produce a lot of insulin to combat sugar and carbohydrates. And that gene is present in all races, but it's most common in Southeast Asians and fucking Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, places that have been empires built on rice for thousands of years. All their diabetics were weeded out through genetically. So they ended up having that gene where it was they're living on heavy carbohydrate based diets, low protein. India probably has a lot of that. They're pretty low protein. But if you look at them, those people tend to be skinny. Indians can be very skinny.
Although, man,
skinny, pot-bellied.
Indians make the fucking best vegetarian dishes in the whole entire
Yeah, they're good. They're very flavorful.
World.
But it's not ideal. Not if you want to have an aesthetic shape to you. I was at the damn Indian restaurant with Jen one time. We go to a place called the Fifth Element. It's a good Indian buffet.
Yeah, they got good.
And it's all Indian in the inside. It's owned by Indians, and Indians show up to it. And I was there dressed basically like I am now at the fucking... This was not the last time, but maybe like 3 times prior. You were standing next to me, waiting to get something out of that buffet, and 3 or 4 of these chicks from India came up, and one of them saw me, and she just... Her whole fucking eyes are just stars looking at me. Like, and not, hi, how you doing, baby? And she's like, whoa. Because they're just not really used to seeing someone who's jacked.
I guess not.
Indian guys are skinny. They're skinny with pot-bellied usually. And that's what you're going to be built like if you're eating heavy carbohydrate, low protein diet. You know, from a very early age. You're going to have thin. And then I think they also kind of come born with genetics that kind of lean towards skinny arms and legs. No. Some Indian guys are getting in the gym. I've been watching some of the shit that they do. They're going on fucking performance-enhancing drugs, testosterone and shit. They can get pretty jacked. Not as jacked as a fucking white guy or a black guy, though, from what I'm seeing so far. And other guys that can get fucking huge. With the champion last time was fucking Big Ramy. He was from Egypt. Arabs can get huge on, but you know, they're taking tests and...
Well, anyone can get jacked if they take that stuff, but...
No. Genes is a factor, too.
Well, I was just going to say, like, obviously, like, your genetic, that's, like, a limiting factor.
Yeah, there's some people that can take steroids and nothing happens to them. They just get sick. Or there are other people that can get big, but they max out long before anybody else. When you're seeing a professional level, open-class bodybuilder guy, the motherfucker weighs 270 pounds, going up to 300 pounds... Only genetics can do that, along with all those drugs. That's an extreme case. Most people could never get that big. I could never get that big. I could get big, but not that big. I've kind of gone through it talking to fucking AI, because all this shit's kind of scientifically known. I probably would never, at my age, when I'm starting, I'll never really break 200 pounds. At 5'6", 200 pounds, 5% body fat. Probably will never beat those numbers. So I'm just
probably shouldn't.
No, at my age, probably shouldn't. I want to. Right now, I'm fucking about 185. I want to be about 180. At about 180 to 185. At maybe 185 at 5% body fat. I could probably maintain that 7% maybe. You go too much deep into single digits, it's kind of risky. You could die of dehydration a lot easier. You look great, though. You look great.
I look great, but
yeah.
I'm dead.
The ideal safe body fat is about 10%.
Yeah, I mean, ideally you don't want to go below. You need fat.
I'm at about 13 right now. 12,
you need
13.
fat.
Yeah.
Fat makes your brain function correctly. If you don't have enough fat, weird shit starts happening with your thinking processes. So, maybe don't.
Here's an example. Franco Colombo, that was Arnold Schwarzenegger's best friend. He was a lightweight champion. You looked at the two, it was just like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Franco was fucking stronger than Arnold. He looked bigger proportionately, but he only weighed 200 pounds. You couldn't break 200 pounds in the lightweight division. He would win all the strongman competitions, but the thing is Franco was only like 5'4", 5'5".
Yeah, like only like an inch or two taller than me.
Yeah, and
I'm pretty short.
Maybe he was probably about 2 inches shorter than me. Go look at Franco Colombo. He's about 199 pounds or 200 pounds at probably like 3% body fat. He's fucking beast. And I really don't want to look that way. It's too extreme. You know what I mean? I'd be good at about 185.
It is a bit much.
You know, which is like a real jacked version of, say, like a smaller version of Vin Diesel. Like a short, like, you know what I mean? Like a shrunken down Vin Diesel at his best. Vin doesn't look that good now, but you know, like Riddick.
Yeah.
Not like an open class bodybuilder, more like just street bruiser. You know.
Yeah, like street I said, because the bodybuilders that compete.
Yeah, there's too much.
That's
man.
not.
It's too much.
attractive.
I don't think it is either.
That's not attractive.
The only bodybuilders that I thought looked pretty good were in the 70s classic division, like Arnold. But I thought he looked even better once he lost a little bit of weight, like when he was in Predator. I think he looked better. Yeah, because
he looked like still kind of normal. He looked like a normal dude could do. I mean, I know they can't. No, I know. I know they can't. Yeah. But I'm just like, he still looked like plausible. Yeah. Like as a normal person.
Well, he was plausible. Yeah. That was the way he looked. But I think.
But when you get into the thing with like the weird veins and like all that, that's gross.
Well, he was probably down 40 pounds.
That's gross.
From his, but he was down to more of kind of like a normal athletic. Hyper athletic look.
Like I said, that's something that like only other dudes like, I guess.
Yeah. You talking about the pro?
Yeah.
No, I don't even think the average dude wants to look like an open class professional.
Women don't like
because they're it's too much mass and they look like a giant anatomy poster. You know what I'm talking about? And it's a little like too. That. I think most dudes would actually kind of like more like what Arnold looked like in Predator.
Yeah, which, like I said, it's, obviously everyone can't do that, but that still looks, like, plausible. Yeah. Like, he still looks like a kind of regular...
Yeah, he looked great.
Dude.
He looked great. He was he looked very handsome. He looked very good.
Like,
and capable.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like I said, once you're getting into, like, competition kind of shit, it's like I said, nobody... Well... That's its own thing. Like, we're not...
When the competition is extreme, and then those dudes only look like that for that event. Yeah. They didn't look like that 4 days before, and they didn't look that way 4 days after. They're oiled up. They're totally pumped up. They're fucking on all kinds of fucking... They're on, like, extra fucking boosting drugs to make them look more vascular for that fucking photo, just to do that little shoot. They don't look like that all the time. Okay, here's an example. There were these girls saying they didn't like these bodybuilders. They said, I don't like bodybuilders. And then they show them pictures. And fucking, they says, what is this guy? And they said, they like dad bod. And they said, does he have dad bod? And they're like, yeah. Yeah, he's hot. And you look at that, it's Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa would have been a fucking pro bodybuilder back in the 50s and 60s. That would have been like Mr. America level. And then they show C-Bum. Fucking, what's his name? Fucking... That he's a fucking open class bodybuilder, a champion, all right, but he's in his off season and he's not fucking up on stage. He's just walking around, just in a shirt. And they go, "Oh yeah, he's got a dad body too." And I'm like, the girls don't know exactly what they're talking about or looking at.
I'm not sure. Like some people know what dad bod means.
Yeah, these girls are saying dad bod. When I think of dad bod, I think of a fat dude.
I don't think of that.
I think of a fat dude.
I don't think of a fat dude. I think of just like a regular average, which, like I said, that could be attractive depending on the person.
Well, these young girls,
depending on the person,
these younger women in their 20s and 30s were saying that they like dad bod.
Well,
and
like
then
they
were showing photographs and they said, "What is dad bod?" And they're pointing at fucking fucking C-Bum. What's his name? Fucking Chris Bumstead. He's a fucking champion bodybuilder. And they're like.
This might be
that is not a dad bod, but that's the terminology.
Of the terminology.
They don't know the terminology.
Because when I think of dad bod, I think of like someone that's like average looking but still hot. Yeah. You know?
Okay.
Like no one's that's like jacked or anything like that, but they like look they're not fat. They could be like a little bit pudgy. That's okay. Okay. But it's just kind of like, you know what I mean?
Based on the photo of fucking Chris Bumstead that they showed, that would have been about what Arnold looked like in fucking Predator.
Yeah, see, that's not dad bod.
They were saying it as dad. Oh, yeah.
That's not dad bod.
What they were talking about is they're talking about some hot older dude.
Well, yeah. Maybe that's the thing. About. Like, everybody that's older than them is dad bod.
How can fucking Jason Momoa, how could that be
That's not dad bod.
Dad bod. And they're talking about Jason Momoa from fucking Aquaman.
Well,
that motherfucker was juicy as shit in Aquaman. What are you talking about?
But I think that younger women are just saying it as like dudes that are old.
Dudes that are old that are
my
still
dad's
attractive.
age. Like my dad's age.
Yeah.
It's like MILF.
MILF, yeah.
Like the male equivalent of MILF.
Yeah, that's older. All it is. He's older, but he's hot.
That's all it is.
They're saying he's older, but he's hot.
Whereas me, my almost 53-year-old ass, if you ask me what dad bod was, it's just kind of like, well, it's a dude that's kind of average looking. Like, he's maybe, like, not jacked. He's not fat, but he's maybe slightly dumpy. But he's still, like, kind of hot.
Yeah.
That's dad bod.
Right.
That's that.
Well, not to some of these young women. Some of these young women will see fucking Jason Momoa.
Like I said,
fucking
but I think that's
Aquaman
just because they're young. I think there's because he's old.
Because he's older, yeah. But
right.
but the thing is that is not dad body.
No, it's not.
That is.
But I think that's
body,
how they're perceiving it.
That body.
That's how.
Jason was fucking juicy as fuck in Aquaman. He looked fantastic. Was it natural? No, he's on steroids, but he looked great though. But he was like that. Momoa in that movie would have been a very respectable 1950s bodybuilder, which that's really all you need. And they call it classic physique. Some of the open glass guys are fucking.
Like I said, I'm not averse to dad bod.
Yeah.
It's just that I think that the problem that we're having here is that young people think that everyone older than them that they still think is hot, they perceive that as dad bod.
That is not dad bod. No.
But my old ass perceives dad bod in a different way.
Yeah,
but it's still hot depending on the person.
Yeah,
depending on the person.
He's average.
Sure.
He's kind of average. Jason Momoa in no shape or form was dad bod. That motherfucker was.
That is not dad bod.
That was fucking
no way.
Classic physique, 1950s bodybuilder. Yeah, that's the way a man should look. If you're going to be a fucking model and a fucking dude of power and a superhero and you're going to be an actor in a superhero movie, you better have that physique. Yeah. The only dude that successfully did it who didn't have that physique would have been fucking the dude who did fucking Superman. What's his name? The original Superman.
Who?
Christopher Reeves. Christopher Reeves didn't quite. He had a good physique. It wasn't at that level though. But he pulled off Superman very well. I think it's just because he was like a Boy Scout, and he had the height and the face.
Yeah, he pulled it off.
Yeah.
Victor says,
for me, fucking Chris Reeves is always gonna be Superman.
I mean, he was like the quintessential.
You're not Superman. Right? Yeah.
Victor says, I ate Indian food in London because I heard they had the best Indian food. It was gross. Okay. So I'm gonna say I've been to London many times. London is a fantastic city. I love it there. But I don't know if that's the best place. Like, they have some fantastic Indian food in the UK. They do. Because, like I said, they have a huge Indian and Pakistani community there. Not sure London is the best place to get that, though, because it's catered to tourists. Because so many tourists from around the world go there. So I'm not really sure if that's the best place to get it. I mean, I had really good Indian food over there, but I was like always in small towns. You know, I don't think I got any Indian food in big cities.
DVD Dragon says Southern X-Men, Children of the Grits. That's fucking funny.
Oh my god, grits are so good. But I'm gonna say some of the best Indian food, other than what Tom makes, because Tom makes very, very good Indian food and Thai food also.
Yeah.
We have a restaurant here. There's 2 locations. There's one in Lake Mary, which is probably about 10 miles from us. And there's one in downtown Orlando. Or International Drive, which I guess is not technically downtown. And it's called Memories of India. And they have really, really, really good Indian food. Best Indian food I've had other than the food that Tom makes.
Yeah. Now, Sidequest
we ate there like last weekend, actually, didn't we?
Sidequest Heroes in there saying that she thinks, what did she say? That dad bod is, she gives her the definition of dad bod.
Where is that from? I can't see it.
I think your cursor was right on it.
Was it?
I think so. She said it's a dude who's doesn't live in he's got good hygiene, but he doesn't live in the gym. He's
okay. There we go. Okay, Sidequest says.
What'd she say?
I think like dad bod is good hygiene and reasonably fit, but also live in a gym. Yeah, it's just kind of like an average dude.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, and like I said, that can be hot too, depending on what that dude's personality is like.
But when you have the same women in their 20s that would say that, he doesn't live in the gym. You know what I mean? He's not like a bodybuilder. he's more like Jason Momoa and this guy over here, and it's fucking.
Which that's just ignorance.
It's Chris Bumstead.
Yeah, they don't
Chris
understand.
Bumstead's a fucking open class pro bodybuilder. Fucking,
that's all that is.
You know, what are you talking about?
Because they think like dudes look like that naturally.
They think dudes look like that naturally.
Because they don't.
They don't. But
they don't.
So that's what I'm saying. Don't really listen to what, especially young women, what they say, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
John Gora says Bruce Willis was dad bod.
Yeah,
that's a good. Okay,
yeah.
Bruce Willis in
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Yeah.
That's dad bod.
Yeah,
but still hot.
I would say so.
But still hot.
Yeah.
That's what. That's the energy we're talking about.
I would say he's just an average fit guy.
Yeah, he's just like an average dude. He's not fat.
Not skinny,
but he's not like. Yeah, he's not
right.
skinny. He's not fat.
Right.
He's not like super jacked or anything like that. He's just like an average guy.
Yeah, Bruce Willis.
But still sexy.
But then you take Bruce Willis. You take Bruce Willis and put him next to fucking Jason Momoa and fucking and C-Bum and ask those girls which one has dad bod. They're gonna say, oh, well, not him. They're gonna say Jason Momoa.
That's not dad bod.
And C-Bum. That's not dad bod.
Like I said, it's not dad bod.
They just have. They have a very fucking twisted view of what normal looks like. They think the top 1% is normal. No.
That's not a great.
Momoa would be the top 1%.
Yeah, hardly anybody looks like.
Almost
Jason
nobody
Momoa.
looks like that. You have to
hardly
work to look like that. You have to take hormones and steroids. You have to fucking train.
And you have to have really good genetics.
You have to have good genetics, and you have to have fucking. Look, man, I've tried to get dudes, friends of mine, just to get them to go on TRT protocol. They're older. So look, man, you need to be on test. You'll feel a lot better. They can't even do that. Okay, they can't manage drugs. There's no consistency, no discipline with them. They go, oh yeah, I felt better, and then I feel better, so I don't need to take it anymore. And then they go right, and then they forget all about it.
No, you have to keep.
You gotta stay on the shit. But that's a lot of money, dude.
Yes, it is.
So the money. So you'd rather drink that money up at the bar? Yeah. So most dudes can't do what I do. They're just not in their mind. That's why dudes like me are so rare at 55. They don't have the mentality for it. They don't have a training background.
Well, they get to a point where
physical.
They get to a point where I think they're just kind of like I don't want to say happy, but they're just like content.
Yeah, they don't
with
care
the level that they're at, so they don't
care.
really care that much, and they don't really want to expend any more effort.
I tried to get my fucking Scott, my boy Scott, on the shit, and he did it for a little while, but he wouldn't listen to me. Okay, and he liked it. But then he got off of it, and I said, "Why'd you get off of it?" He says, "Dude, my fucking nuts started to get small." And I said, "Well, you were taking the Clomid, right?" Huh? Yeah, I told you had to take Clomid with it. Oh, I didn't know. It's a dude, man. So you can't even teach them protocol. They forget. All right. And he goes, "Well, I don't really need to look like you because I have money and I just get hookers." So.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say. Is that I mean Scott in particular.
He don't give a shit.
He has a lot of money.
Yeah.
He has
hookers.
A fiance / wife who stays at home.
Yeah.
And he's also in an open relationship, and he is allowed to just like hire escorts.
Yeah, she's got
which he does when he comes out to the club. And the girl that he brings, so she's delightful. I really like her. But
she's trying to hook up with us all the time.
She is, yeah.
She'll be making out with her. Yeah.
Yeah. He got mad about that.
He didn't want you getting it for free.
I'm not sure why. Well, hey.
She's like, I really need a break. She's like, I'll come see you guys. I really need a break.
Sure.
For us.
I mean,
so, yeah.
I get it.
Because this is a sugar daddy type situation. I know.
Sure, she knows.
I know.
She knows.
Oh, you know? Yeah, I know.
She's super cute. I like her.
Yeah.
But like, she's doing a job. You know what I mean?
She's just doing what she's paid to do.
But she's cool. I really like her.
Yeah.
And
she's married.
She is.
She's married and got kids.
Married. We found out.
Yeah, she's married.
We didn't know.
Married, got kids, and her husband fucking knows what she does, and fucking.
Can you imagine?
He's just like, go make some money, girl. Fucking, they got some people out there. This is Florida, man.
Like I said, it's just kind of like I can't imagine. That'd be so weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be so weird.
I don't understand it.
Can you imagine you just go like going out and clubbing with like
Scott said
dudes that look like Scott?
Scott said
just getting and you being okay with it? Yeah, have fun. Make some money.
Yeah. Scott.
That's kind of weird.
Scott says he's cool with him. He knows him, and he knows where she's going. And
the husband's all right with it.
Yeah, and he's happy to get a break from her, to take her off his hands for a while.
That's a little weird too.
And that's the thinking, and that
I have literally never thought that about you ever.
Yeah, we don't have that kind of relationship, but then they have kids. She's got 3 kids.
Maybe it's different when you have kids.
Yeah, she got kids.
I don't know.
I think she's kind of living vicariously and getting a break from family life. And then the dude...
I get that.
The dude can kind of like... He can have a break from her. And then she comes back with money.
Yeah.
To help pay the bills.
Still, though. I get it, kind of. But it's like... It's so strange.
But that's her
Like I said, it's like... Yeah. We are like... We're not together 24/7. But I work at home. Yeah. He's at home.
Yeah, but we're like usually in other parts of the house.
We're in other parts of the house and stuff like that. So it's not like we're up each other's asses 24/7. Yeah. But I don't get sick of you.
Yeah, I think they get sick of each other. And then what's funny is...
that's a weird concept. I would hope that you didn't get sick of me either. No. But it's like, that's a weird
concept.
Just
like anything else, I'll go off in my own world. I start fixing stuff, or I'll working on the outside.
Like I said, we do our own stuff. Like I'm in here, like in the office. I'm working, like on my, freelance stuff and everything. And he's in there, like working on the house or working on the car or whatever he's doing. Yeah. And it's like, so we're not, like I said, we're not in each other's faces 24/7. Yeah. But I can't fathom.
Yeah. And I don't know how he found her.
Yeah.
But as far as I know, that's her only client. And they're regular. So I don't think she works for anybody else. I think she just works for him.
Maybe not. And like I said, I really like her. She's a cool person. I really like her. I really like her. She's a lot younger than us.
Yeah, she's young, yeah.
But she's really cool. Like she's really cool. Like she's really nice. I really like her.
She's a lovey.
But
she gets real lovey. She got real soft skin. Grab her fucking shoulders. Like, God damn, you got a skin like butter.
She does that very nice.
She's like, oh yeah, I'm like butter. She's funny. She's Latin. She's Latina.
And she she knows the deal.
Yeah.
She knows the whole situation.
Yeah.
And we've known Scott for a long time. And
she was like, I'd love to come hang out with you guys. I need a break from all this. I said, because there's a sugar.
And I told her last time, I was just kind of like, if you want to, just call me. You can come over. We're not going to charge you or nothing. Just come on. But it's like, she seems super cool.
Yeah.
But like I said, I kind of feel like the thing is, dudes like Scott, and I love Scott. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But dudes like that, he's got a shit ton of money. He's our age. He's older than me, I think.
He wanted us to go to Thailand with him so he could hunt down fucking ladyboys.
Yeah, he's a pervert. But he owns it.
Yeah. Oh, he knows he's a pervert.
In his defense.
He says he's a pervert.
And he admits it. He doesn't try to sneak.
Yeah.
Like he will admit to people that he's a dirty old man.
Yeah, dirty old man.
And he just he owns that.
And what's funny is he's younger than me. He's younger than me, but he looks like an old man.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man, fucking, I want to go to Thailand and fucking find a ladyboy and I just fuck me up.
He offered to pay for us
to go with him
to go to Thailand with him.
To fucking.
I was just kind of like
chaperone him. He doesn't want to go by himself.
I mean, that may be nice.
Yeah.
Do we have
to do a whole show from?
Do we have to babysit him the whole time though?
No.
I don't know.
You probably have to party with him. You have to make sure he doesn't get into trouble. See, I came up in a brothel situation in Korea, so I
can do that probably.
I know all about that shit.
I can do that probably.
Yeah. I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran of Hooker Hill, so I fucking know all
Like
about
I said, he's got a lot of money. So he doesn't really need
His best friend died. His best friend died and left him all his money.
And our friend, John.
John.
Who came to the club all the time.
Yeah,
he died suddenly. He just had a heart attack.
Had a heart attack out in the car.
Target.
At Target, yeah.
And and he died, and that was Scott's best friend.
Yeah, it was like $400,000.
And he left him not all of his money, but a lot of it. It was he left him a large
$400,000
proportion. Yeah, it was something like that. It was like $500,000.
Yeah.
And so he's like, man, if you guys ever want drinks, I'm just like, okay, whatever. I don't want to take advantage because that's weird, but it's like.
No, what happens is if you start accepting too much money from him, he starts thinking he owns you.
That's So that's why I don't. That's why I don't like to take things from people. Because I always feel like, well, now I owe them some shit. And I might, like, owe some shit that I don't want to do.
I boss his ass around in the club. You can't let him fucking have any kind of fucking dominance over you, or he'll just run with it. Because that's in his nature. And I've known the dude for fucking years.
Yeah, we've known him forever.
So he'd be a good opportunity. I could go work for him. But the thing is that if you go work for him, all of a sudden he becomes your boss. And then
I don't know.
So you don't want to work with it
because he owns his own bar.
Yeah, he's got his own bar
in downtown Sanford. Because, like I said, another one of our friends,
the Capitol Room, and it's nice.
Big Tom owns Mannequins.
Yeah,
but Scott owns another bar in downtown Sanford called the Capitol Room, which is kind of like a higher end, more craft cocktail kind of place. It's his theme around it. At least according to the shit that I designed for him initially, was based on, like, robber barons. He wanted, like, a robber baron's old school money, 20s kind of look to it. I don't know if they're still going with that, because I haven't been there for a while, but that was the shit that I designed for the opening. So I don't really know if he's still going with that. Yeah. But that was kind of like what he wanted, like, an old school robber baron theme. That was what he was going with. But we haven't been there. He keeps asking.
You guys consider adopting the same lifestyle? Just go to Thailand for free with the pervert?
No,
I told him. I said, yeah, if you fucking wanted to go, we'll go with you. But I said
I don't know what would happen when we got there. Yeah, see, it's just kind of like.
I told her that Jen has to have internet connection so she can work when we're down there.
And
we might have to do a show from there. Goes, fine. I'll be at the best hotel. We'll hook you guys up. I just don't want to party by myself down there. So it's like, okay. But he hasn't talked about it recently.
No.
He hasn't talked about it recently. I've never been to Thailand, but I've been to Korea and fucking Brazil and shit, so I wouldn't have a problem there. And,
when you talk about lifestyle, are you talking about
getting hookers and shit? I don't know what he's talking about.
Getting hookers or pimping me out to other people.
I would never do that.
No, I know you would.
Yeah, I'd never do that.
Well, I don't have any interest.
No.
In doing that anyway.
We don't have a need either.
Nah. Like I said...
Well, we fucking said all kinds of shit on the show over the years. Like, what would happen when we were camming for a living and shit. We did that for a little bit.
While I was kind of out of work.
Yeah. Which we did pretty good.
Yeah, we did okay.
It's not.
I can pay my bills, but it's not easy.
It's not an easy job. People think that that's easy money. No, you get sick of that shit real. It's a grind.
And there's a lot of people doing it.
Yeah.
So you gotta fucking hustle. Yeah,
it's a grind. And most of it's just sitting around waiting to be picked up by some pervert.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when you get to know them, they turn the camera on. It's just some young dude.
I mean, most of them.
Yeah, they were normal guys.
We didn't get any weirdos.
No, you get any weirdos.
We didn't get any.
So it's really not as weird as you think. But that type of work really is kind of like for somebody like me and Jen, be like last resort.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'd have to be really desperate.
Yeah, you got to make bills. You know what I mean? But the thing is that it's in some ways it's easy. In other ways, it's kind of stressful because you don't know how much money you're gonna make that day. So nothing's guaranteed.
Well, my whole existence has been like that since like 2016.
But you're taking something that's kind of fun, which is sex, and making it work, which kind of takes the fun out of it in a way.
It does, yeah. That's kind of a side effect that a lot of people don't think about.
Yeah, you don't think about it.
I don't think that happened to us, but
we weren't doing it long enough.
We weren't doing it long enough to do it. But I could see how if you did it for a job, like for a long time, it would like suck all the fun out of
No.
it.
Some of the, I did a lot of research on it. Fucking know people in the porn industry and also the sex industry. And what happens a lot of times is those girls will be camming for a while, and they get fucking sick of it because it's very artificial.
Yeah.
And then they realize, well, you know what? The money I'm making in a week, I could do that escorting in like a day.
Yeah.
All I need is like one client a week, and I can make that like in a day.
And you just have to interact with them face to face, which is probably not ideal, but...
No, it's easier.
It's one time a week.
The girls say it's actually easier.
I get
to deal with them face to face, because now you know who it is.
Yeah.
And you're
They're not hiding behind
you're not hiding behind a screen, and it's a lot more natural. And you get a good feeling for what this dude is like, so they can deal with that a lot easier. It's more like a normal relationship.
Of course, it's a lot more dangerous because they could still kill you.
Yeah, well, it also depends on the level of the girl you're talking about. If she's kind of low end, she's a streetwalker. She's dealing with a fucking bunch of dudes a day. That's the highest danger level.
Yeah.
If she's somebody who's working off a tryst, she's an online escort. She's low volume. Usually they have a day job or a part-time job too.
Yeah, it's just like a side gig.
It's like a side gig. And, they might make an extra $1,000 a week doing that. Well, that adds up. That's $4,000 a month. That's pretty good fucking money.
Lot.
All right. So, my friend's wife does it, but she's also a porn star.
Yeah.
Okay. And they don't care because it's just like doing a scene.
Yeah.
And
he thinks of it like
they just think it's like, well, you shot a scene. What is it? What does it different make if you do the same thing with some dude?
And
nobody's filming it. All right, so I can come in. So it's
which I get that, but
yeah,
yeah,
and he's married to her, and they got 3 kids. Yeah, you wouldn't know it by looking at her. And then you go like, well, how this began? Well, they started doing that. There were drug problems involved and selling drugs out of a hotel and her having sex with people out of a hotel. Well, so actually going up into that, going into porn and professional escorting was a move up for them, not a move down. Because they started out as like low-level street end people. Yeah. They got normal house and cars, and you'd think that they were middle-class people, which they are now, but they fought their way to get to that. So each situation is
like
a different situation.
No shame. People got to make their fucking money somehow.
Yeah. I don't think prostitution should be illegal.
I don't begrudge anyone.
It's not. It's kind of un-American to illegalize it because it was mostly legal. It was usually illegal up until most states. It's illegal. Some states, Nevada, they have legalized brothels. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, because a person's body is their own.
And it makes it much more dangerous when it's illegal.
Yeah.
I feel.
And it's not the same situation now where a woman has to go into a brothel where she might be kind of fucking extorted, like they're
or you
charging.
have to like stand on a street corner.
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily have to do that anymore.
You can do it fucking online with applications now. It makes it a lot safer.
Still dangerous. But not as dangerous.
Not as dangerous.
As just getting picked up by a random motherfucker.
Well, they have ways. You have ways. They first of all take the guy's ID.
Exactly.
You got to show the ID, and then that's recorded.
Yep.
So she documents who she's going with between what hours.
Yeah.
If she comes up dead, they're gonna know who it was.
Number one suspect.
So it's not like it was.
No. Like I said, it's much, much safer.
Yeah.
So I'm a big advocate of that. Like people that want to do sex work and stuff like that, I totally think it should be legal.
To illegalize it would be un-American. Your body is yours. Who's the government to say you can't contract for somebody else? Like a dude could contract, all right? I could join a federal army and go fight in another country, get killed and kill other people, and that's normal. That's legal. Why can't some girl contract out to some old dude to fuck him and she comes back?
Well, here's another thing,
dies.
Here's the thing. I could go, if I was single, and I've done this, I could go to a club, pick up some dude, and just fuck that dude for free.
Yep.
And that's fine, but it's like if he gave me $50, then suddenly it's illegal.
Yeah,
that's dumb.
That doesn't make any sense.
Dumb.
That makes no sense.
That's dumb.
Makes no sense.
There's literally no difference between what happened. No. Like I still fucked that dude, but it's like the difference was did he give me $50?
Yeah.
Or did he not give me $50?
Yeah, I don't see.
That's a stupid.
I don't see where anybody gets hurt in that situation.
They don't. Like I said, as long as everyone is adults and they're all consenting, no one has been forced into it.
Right.
Because that does happen with trafficking and stuff. But it's just like, as long as everyone is...
The trafficking's happening because it's illegal. if it was
exactly,
legal,
that's what I'm saying. Well, it's just kind of like the whole drug thing, which is why I'm a big advocate of legalizing all the drugs, because a lot of the shit that happens that hurts people is because it's illegal.
Yeah, the oldest profession is hooking. The second oldest profession is soldiering. All right. In both cases, a young person is selling their body to an old man. The girls are selling their body to an old man for sex.
Yeah.
The guys are selling their bodies to old men to fight his enemies, to keep him rich. All right.
So he can stay in his golden palace with his golden toilet.
That's all it is. Okay. So, as being a professional soldier, I know exactly that's all it is.
It's pretty much exactly the same.
So
like I said, that's why
you're just selling it in a different way.
Like I said, if you respect soldiers, you should also respect sex workers, because it is essentially the same job.
Thing.
It's the same job.
And equal danger. Their dangers are different. Serial killers get them and shit, but so it's a similar danger factor. It's just that they're providing fucking entertainment. They're not hurting anybody.
No.
I was introduced to this idea when I got stationed in Korea, and realized that there was military prostitution. You know what I mean? You go to a fucking brothel and there's all these Korean entertainers who are, willing to do business with you. They're all recruited by the fucking Korean government.
Yeah.
To keep us away from the normal population, because they don't want us bothering the family people.
Yep.
And it was their mission to get as much money out of our pockets into the Korean economy as possible.
Yep.
And both armies were involved. And I realized dealing with these girls is that this is just another army.
Yeah.
It's an army of Korean girls serving their country.
And they were all nice girls.
They're nice. Yeah.
Yeah, they were all nice.
Yeah, they're cool. And it's not like they're being forced to do something that they don't want to do. You show up to a place like the Paradise Club or something, or you show up to Hooker Hill, and Law of the Jungle still applies. If you're a good-looking guy, all the stars and the top girls are going to be fucking fighting to do business over you. If you're not that good-looking, the stars will be like, I don't really need that guy. I'm not really hurting for the money. They're going for the guys that they like anyway, the ones that they want to work with. Now, some of them, if the business is kind of rough, the good-looking girls will monopolize the dudes. If you show up there and you're a fucking... First of all, you're mostly military guys, so they're all in good shape. But if you just don't look that good, they got girls in there that are just plain Janes, they're there for that, And then there's all kinds of games you can play. You can show up and all the good-looking ones are fighting over you, and you look in the back and there's some little fucking plain Jane with a sad look on her face. You go, you, come here. And she's like, and then she's happy to fucking do business with you. And it's fun,
Well, they want some money.
Well, they want money, and they don't normally, they're fucking, you're passing up all the fucking hotties to get at her. She's kind of average, but you liked her. So, it's an ego boost for him, I guess.
Well, yeah, it would be.
Because I was at the bottom of the totem pole. All these other girls were ahead of me. He picked me, and you're gonna get good service. Is it sex? Yeah, it's sex. Is it a relationship? No, not really. No. It's like fucking the waitress.
Well,
yeah. Do they like you? Yeah, some of them do. Yeah, most of them don't care. It's just
you're just another one.
It's just another one. Yeah,
you're just another one.
It's just another one. Some of them are they're having a good time.
I mean, yeah, I kind of feel like some of them, if they've been doing it a long time, they're probably in the mindset where it's just kind of like I'm sure they like some more than others.
It's not a prostitution atmosphere. It's a club.
Well, it's very carefully curated to not be that.
Yeah, in Korea at that time, it was a club atmosphere.
Yeah, because they didn't want it to seem weird, like you were paying for sex.
Yeah.
Even though you were.
Yeah.
But they didn't want it to seem like that. They wanted it to seem like more natural, like you just met this girl at the club and like y'all hooked up like would normally happen.
That kind of was happening, though. There was a natural selection process happening. If a girl didn't like you, she wasn't going to deal with you. Yeah. You'd see a guy try to fucking, hey, and she's like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah. So they're not that desperate,
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they probably had a lot of options. I'm just saying that, we've got
to look at it from her point of view. She's like, no, I made my quota for the week.
Yeah, it's like I don't have
to
do this.
Yeah,
like
I don't really have to do that. Yeah, I don't really like that guy. I'll just wait a while. There'll be a better one.
Maybe there'll be a better one.
Yeah. Well, there is. There's gonna be a better one.
I get it.
So there's kind of competition between, you call them the Johns. We call them the clients. There's competition between the clients. Some of the clients are more popular than other clients. Just some of the girls are more popular than the other girls. Right, yeah, same thing.
Well, it is really.
So, yeah.
But yeah, so, I mean, that's what I'm saying. But that's what's weird to me is that in the Western world, if you want to put it that, like, when I was single, like, I would go out to the clubs and, like, every now and then, I didn't make a habit of this or anything, but it's like every now and then, you'd just meet a dude and you'd, like, and you'd hook up with the dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's normal.
And that's pretty normal. Like, I feel like most people do that. So it's just kind of like...
Yeah.
I didn't get paid for it or nothing, but it'd nice if I did. But but I didn't.
You get a tip afterwards. Here's some money for you.
I'd have been I've been a little offended if that happened after. Although a couple of them did buy me breakfast, which was nice.
Yeah.
You know, buy me some pancakes. That's nice. I'll take that. But it's just kind of like, I don't know. So like I said, I don't really see why sex workers in general are denigrated because, like I said, over here, we'll do that shit for free. Or at least I have. Most people have. I feel like most normal people have. I have in the small window of time when I was single, between the end of my first marriage and me hooking up with Tom and getting with Tom, there was like a 1.5, 2 year period in there where, you know, I think a little buck wild, so it's just kind of like, you know, not that crazy.
I think the big fear of legalized prostitution in the United States from the older generations is that they were looking at it from an American mindset that, well, if we legalize that, then the corporations will get involved. Imagine what would happen if fucking Hooters was a brothel.
Well, would that be a bad thing? I mean, they're going bankrupt anyway.
Think of this. Now you're a regular voter, right? Mom pie, apple, Chevrolet, all that kind of shit, right? Apple pie shit. And all of a sudden your daughter wants to go work for Hooters because that's who's paying the best. So now your daughter wants to be a corporate hooker.
Well,
so that's what they were worried about.
Yeah, but
that wouldn't happen today. Because why would you work for them when you could just get on Tryst, where there's nobody above you taking any of your money and you're doing it as an independent contractor? Well, because they didn't have applications in the internet back then. Now that you have all that shit can be done independently.
Because you can keep all your own.
You can keep all your own money, right? And so
some pimp or some
right. So the extortion and the usury isn't there. She has a lot more agency. It's her money.
Yeah.
She was the contractor. She got to pay taxes on it.
Well, yeah, and like I said, I think that's like a better model. Mm-hmm. You know, like if somebody wants to do that.
Yeah. I don't see the problem.
I really don't see a problem with it.
No.
It's a legitimate way to make money, just like anything else is.
Yeah,
you're paying taxes. Yeah. You're contributing to the economy. I'm sorry, I don't. See
and you don't have fucking scantily clad fucking girls and their fucking asses hanging out in their underwear, walking up and down the fucking streets in the middle of the night in these alleyways. You know what I mean? Where something bad could happen to them, and it just looks bad. You don't need that anymore.
And like I said, that's horribly, horribly dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous and it's tacky.
Yeah.
It's just tacky.
A lot of those women got fucking murdered.
Yeah.
We've done so many fucking serial killer shows. It's like the fact that you don't... And I know that some people still do that because they don't have access to internet or they don't have... You know what I mean? You know. So that still does happen, obviously, and people still get trafficked. But at least there's that option... Nowadays, that you don't necessarily have to do that. Why is that bitch
walking up and down the damn fucking street all day in those fucking stripper heels along that fucking concrete and shit? She's maybe she gets fucking 8, 9 customers because she's there at the time, but she didn't make a shit ton of money. That same girl could have just stayed at home running an ad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And got maybe 3 customers a week and made the same amount of money.
You could escort, you could live stream.
Yeah.
There's like so many options.
And then she'd have to walk around the street fucking in her underwear.
Like I said, it's so much better.
Fucking,
it's so much better.
Yeah.
So much better, so much safer.
Yeah, and then she got all the money, not the pimp. And not the fucking...
Yeah, and you don't have to like share it. Like a lot of, like sometimes, like, you know, the app that we use, Stream8, They'll take a percentage, obviously, but not much.
But you're paying for the service.
Yeah, you're paying for the streaming service and for them to like host you and stuff. So it's just like, and it's not really much. They didn't really take that much.
Yeah.
And they sell your videos also.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, if you know how to set that shit up, much better.
Yeah.
Much better, much safer.
Yeah.
It's just about, and like I said, I have no problem at all if people want to make money doing that. Like I said, gotta make money somehow.
Camming was easy.
Yeah.
Well, camming was safe. It's not easy. It gets boring.
It does. I kind of feel like that was the main thing, which I didn't really think of when we started doing it.
Just sitting around. Wait.
Wow, it's really boring.
Yeah.
It's really boring. Because most of the time, you're just kind of hanging out.
Waiting for somebody to pick you up.
Yeah,
and they're like, hey, how you guys doing?
I mean, you're in your own house. You're not in any danger or anything like that. But it's just kind of like, man, you're just kind of sitting there. So I can understand why, because we used to make fun of some of the other couples or some of the other girls that were just like sitting there on their phone. But like, I get it now.
Yeah,
I get it.
They got sick of that.
Because, man, they're on there all day.
Yep. And
it's just like they're bored. They're just like sitting there like, look, I'm naked, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, nobody's like, I'm just going to like.
I thought I'd chase. When I got on there, I thought I'd be chasing the customers away. No, I was attracting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I told you.
I could have gone on there solo, just me, and made money too.
I told you.
Yeah.
You should still like start your own.
Yeah.
You should do your own videos too.
Yeah. Yeah, I should make some. Yeah, man, we have so many other things going on, man. I haven't really thought about it. I need to make some video.
I told you should.
We don't do that shit for money. You don't make that much money on the shit.
It's really
more just for fun, you know. We like making.
I have like a few videos up there, and it's like every now and then they'll make like $1 or $2. Yeah, it's like that's pretty.
That was the ones on StreamMate.
Yeah,
you sold a couple of them. They were me and you. I think we sold 3 of them. A couple weeks ago?
Yeah, like last week.
Somebody
suddenly like bought
a bunch of them.
3 or 4 of the ones of us.
Yeah, and I think we made about $25 on it.
Something like that. But it's just like, it wasn't, like I said, it's not much. It's not like you can't live on it.
And see, you can say, well, boy, it's not much. The thing is the people that are doing that for a living are constantly on fucking X and social media.
You're putting stuff up. That's like a full time, more than full time.
Yeah.
Because you have to constantly got
to be posting
there's
shit.
So much competition.
And man, you get sick of doing that. So what they do is they hire Indian guys to do it for you and run all that shit for you. There are guys in India that pretend to be you.
Well, yeah, once you get to a certain point,
right,
and you can afford to hire somebody else to manage your shit.
Yeah,
I get it.
But they'll get you a bunch of customers. It's just that we didn't really, man, fucking. She got a job.
We just did it for fun, and then it's just kind of because I was in between gigs, and then I ended up getting a good gig.
Yeah, and really
that takes up pretty much most of my time. This and that and the show takes up like most of my time. So it's like I didn't really have much time to do that anymore, as much as I would like to, because we think of like videos to do like all the time. But we just never have time to do them. And then, like, on the weekend when we have time, it's like we're always just like, man, we just want to lay around. We just want to lay around and do our own shit. We don't film it, and just, like, watch TV and snack and stuff. Yeah. So it's, it just kind of happens like that. Oscar says, not Jenny waiting for Tom to leave the room. I didn't say anything nefarious when Tom was out of the room.
Well,
I don't think.
I don't remember.
Did I?
I don't know. I don't remember. I wasn't here.
I don't think I did.
What time is it?
10:53.
Yeah, it's almost time to end the show anyway.
I can't see.
We want to get something to eat?
In a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, John Gore says, gotta fuck or fight your way to the top.
Yeah.
Or hell, just to the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I have no... Like I said, if you're making some money somehow, props to you. I don't look down on people however the fuck they make money. I especially do not look down on sex workers because
it's a harder job than people think it is.
Yeah, it's not as fun as you think it is.
Yeah.
Like I said, and we only kind of dabbled in it.
Yeah.
Doing the live stream shit and all that kind of stuff and
yeah,
videos.
but I know the husbands of the girls that do it for a living now.
Yeah, and it's like it's not glamorous.
No.
At all. It's a job like any other job.
Yeah, it's a grind for
them.
Yeah,
it's a grind. You kind of get sick of it. It's just kind of like, oh man, I gotta fuck this dude. I gotta do this and that and the other. It's like it's not fun for them, really.
And what's funny is that you would think, well, I couldn't have my wife all go out and do and having sex. They don't even see it as sex. They see it as like a show. It is sex, but it's not normal sex.
It's not like you would have sex with someone that you actually liked.
Yeah. They're just doing it.
It's different.
Yeah, they're just doing something and they're entertaining a person. And there's a lot of risks involved, STDs and shit like that. There's all kinds of precautions that they take and try to take, and you would think, well, that'd be demeaning. A lot of times, these people that do this for a living don't even really see it as even demeaning. They always see it as like a non-event, like it was nothing, like it was nothing to them.
I can see that.
They're like in the circus. They're like think of it like a circus, like a circus acrobat or something. They just.
It's weird because I kind of feel like maybe
the husband, you did a good job, babe. You did a
10, 20 years ago, I don't think I would have seen it like that.
After Cam, and you see what it is they're talking about.
But I can see it now. Like I said, I haven't experienced what they've experienced. But just the brief time that we did camming, I understand, like, separating, because it's like the shit that we did on that show is not the same.
No.
As just when it's just me and you.
Dudes were paying us to do all kinds of fucking crazy shit that we weren't into, but we were.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not, but you had to pretend to be into it. Because it's like you wanted to get them off. That was kind of your whole thing.
Yeah, it was amusing.
It was fun.
But, it was amusing.
It's fun.
Like, this dude wants me to pretend like I'm the big mojo. There was one dude who wanted me to do a whole fucking act like I'm a king on a fucking primitive island, and she's like a slave girl. And
I got kidnapped.
And fucking.
It was a whole narrative.
Just this whole fucking crazy shit.
He gave us a whole narrative.
Yeah, he gave me a whole fucking narrative
like,
on the situation. And I'm going like, to me, there's nothing hot about this. This is goofy.
Well, no, but he was into it.
He was into it, so there you go.
But like I said, everybody's into different shit. You know?
Yeah.
You're into different shit. I'm into different shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of a thing where it's
we had a couple of good regulars. We had this fucking guy he was a fitness dude who would just fucking, oh, you guys are back. Let's have a threesome. You ready for a threesome? Yeah, let's have a threesome. And me and Jen I'd grab the camera, and me and Jen would just start doing all kinds of shit.
He wanted to be involved.
Yeah, and then he's on the camera and he's doing his shit. He's doing push-ups and jerking it at the same time and all kinds of weird fitness stuff.
He was like pretending
like he's involved and everything. Yeah, and fucking we're cheering him on. That was his big thing. And we're cheering him on and everything, you know.
He was a cool guy though.
Yeah, he
paid a lot of money.
Yeah, spent a lot of money. He was cool.
Yeah, I liked him actually.
Yeah. And then we had the fucking pervy British guy who'd be jerking it in the office.
And that was hilarious.
Yeah,
but he was like, he was funny about it.
He was funny about it. Yeah. He's in the office. I'm at work right now.
I'm not supposed to be.
I'm not supposed to be doing this. Fucking, they got the door closed. So it was, okay, all right.
He's like the boss. So.
Yeah, he was like the boss, and I was so he pants up, and he's in London. He goes, yeah, and fucking, you know, and it turned out he was bisexual, and his wife.
We got a lot of bisexual.
Yeah, mostly bisexual guys, and bisexual fitness guys. That's who want to see couples a lot of time.
Yeah.
So
which is fine with me because they were like the best customers.
Yeah,
easily, by a long.
Yeah. So it's like,
but by a large margin.
So I was like, does the wife know? And he's like, oh no, I could never tell her. This is just a secret. Yeah, okay, all right, man. We're gonna hook you up, man. We're gonna hook you up.
That's so weird to me though, because it's like, why would you be married to somebody that you couldn't tell that kind of shit to? I would feel really bad.
A lot of married guys that are secretly bisexual, at least in England. They can't tell the wife.
Okay, so I kind of feel like look, we're married.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like if you had something that you couldn't tell me because you thought you'd be embarrassed or I'd be mad or something like that, like that'd be upsetting. I kind of feel like if you're in a marriage,
not everybody's marriage is like a friendship.
I guess not. But it's just kind of like, I don't hide nothing from you.
That's what I was telling you, like, so my dad's friends that had girlfriends, the wives didn't care because they got married early and they didn't want to fuck that dude anymore. They don't want to fuck that dude anymore.
I know it's different.
Yeah.
But it's like, we're a lot different because it's like, look, I don't hide anything from you.
Yeah.
I would like to think you don't hide anything from me.
You know too much about me. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of shit about you.
Yeah.
A lot of shit we haven't said on the show.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't.
It's nothing bad.
No, it's nothing bad. It's just that I don't think there's anything that I haven't said on the show. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not worried about it. It's just so I get relationships that don't have that, because if you don't have that, that's not good. Like if you feel like you have to hide shit from your significant other, from your spouse, that's not great. Yeah, not great. You know, just saying that's not a great thing overall. So if you have like weird fetishes or something like that, and you tell your significant other, and they're anything but supportive of it, like they don't have to like it. They can just say, "Hey, I get where you're coming from. I don't really want to do that, but I get it. Blah blah blah. I'll try to accommodate." But it's just like, but if they just immediately shut you off, that's bad.
Here's the thing. I think most people kind of fucking do morality judgment on people based on what gets those people off.
Sure.
But people like me and you, I guess, we don't really see things that way. Things that get you off just get you off.
Sure. It
doesn't necessarily have to be reality.
Yeah.
It could be just a fantasy thing that you're thinking of.
Yeah, you don't really necessarily want to do that in real life.
Right. So that's the thing. A lot of people can't break through that barrier of that erotic fantasy is just fantasy. It's not really anything you can use to judge against somebody. Because a lot of people like things that are naughty.
Yeah.
So the things that they like are things that they invented because they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So it's turning them on.
Yeah, same thing.
Well, some girls that come up with some crazy ass shit. There's some naughty shit, bro. But I'm not gonna judge her. So you whore, because you're like, no. The reason why she think that shit's naughty is because she wouldn't do it. Yeah. So she's rubbing it out to that. Yeah. I totally understand it. There's a lot of shit that I wouldn't do, but I think it's fucking hot. I wouldn't do it. If I see somebody else or imagine that somebody else doing it or in a video, you're like, oh, that's fucking hot.
Yeah, those are two completely different things.
It's not the same as me doing it.
Because it's like, I have a lot of, like Tom knows, I have a lot of like weird, I don't know if they're weird, they're not weird, but like a lot of fantasies about stuff. Yeah. And it's just kind of like, and I've told him about it, and it's just kind of like, he's willing to accommodate. But it's like, I don't necessarily want that to happen in real life.
It's just
necessarily.
It's just something that gets her off.
Right. It's like, if it happened in real life, I'm not sure how I would feel about it. Yeah. I'm really not sure. But it's like, in fantasy, when you're just thinking about it, man, that's super hot. Yeah. And it's like the same thing. You have like a lot of weird, quote unquote, like weird fantasies too.
I like shit that's fucking naughty.
Yeah, you like shit that's like wrong. Yeah, anything that's like wrong that you're not.
If it's not wrong, then it's not.
That you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I like taboo shit.
Yeah, then Tom's gonna be into it. Yeah. So it's like
But I don't do it.
Yeah, we don't do any of that.
We don't do it. That's the thing.
But we pretend.
Yeah.
You pretend. Yeah. And it's just kind of like, and he really likes me to like pretend. That I'm doing this or that and the other thing. Yeah. So it's just kind of like.
Or I like to hear her talk about it.
Yeah, and like I'll talk about like, hey, I'm doing this and
that.
But
here's the thing. I know she's fucking with me.
Well, yeah,
these are all games.
Gonna do that in real life.
These are all games. Yeah, these are all games.
I didn't really invite like 5 dudes over for a gangbang.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I don't even know 5 dudes that I would invite over for a gangbang.
That's hot though, because that's wrong.
But yeah.
It's like, whoa.
But he loves that.
Yeah, I like all kinds of fucking
that I said that I did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, Cady going to the glory hole.
Yeah, it's like, man, you weren't here and I did this and the other.
Yeah.
He loves that shit. He loves that shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, I have a thing where, like I said, I think what do they call that? It's cuck queen, right?
Yeah, Jen likes the idea.
I have a cuck queen fetish.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
I have to make up all these stories of these chicks.
He has to make up stories about him cheating on me. Yeah. Which I don't really want him to do in real life, obviously, because I would be really, really mad.
The reason why it's turning her on is because she doesn't want that to happen.
Because I don't want that to happen. But when he makes it up,
I'll be at Starbucks and a fucking messenger. Yeah, I made it here because I ride the bike there.
Yeah, because I worry like.
And then I'm sending her messages about the chicks that I'm fucking over there. Mm-hmm. The girls that work there. Yeah, she's blowing me. I got my coffee set on her.
Yeah,
she's on the other day. She fucking loves that shit.
I love that shit. I love it. So it's just like I know he's not really doing that.
No, I'm just fucking with her.
I mean, I hope you're not really doing that, but it's like he's not really doing that.
No.
But there's something about thinking about it.
Yeah.
It makes me mad.
It's because it's competition.
But it's also kind of hot at the same time.
It's competition.
It's also kind of.
You're trying to rise
I feel
up,
like
fucking
years
fight
ago,
for your man.
I don't think I would have. Years ago, I would have just been mad. It would have been like it wouldn't have been hot at all. I would have just been.
I think it's because of androgens. I think it's because of steroids.
Well, you know what? It might be, but
makes you want to fight. It eroticizes conflict.
I think the catalyst of it happened when I don't remember how long ago it was, a couple years ago, on the show. Yeah. When you admitted that you had dated Gia. Yeah. On the show, and because you had for many years told me that nothing had happened, and then like later on,
I dated Gia. Yeah.
Like you trickle truthed, as they say. Yeah. Like stuff that actually happened on that, and I was like, oh shit, what else is he?
She was a friend that would hang out, and I'd hang out with her and shit. But I had dated her.
I was only mad about it.
She was a lesbian.
Okay, I wasn't mad about it.
She was a cute lesbian girl.
I wasn't mad about it. Yeah. Because the shit that happened with y'all with dating was before we were going out. Yeah. So I wasn't mad about that.
Yeah, I wouldn't cheat on her.
I was only mad. Because you and her had hung out alone without me after. We were going out. Yeah. And so I started to suspect that something happened, but I know nothing did.
Nothing happened. But she had a girlfriend at that time.
But the fact that you had lied to me about shit that happened before that,
I didn't lie to you. I just didn't tell you.
Well, no, that's still lying.
No,
that's still lying.
Oh, I was protecting her though.
That's a lie of omission. That's still lying.
I was just protecting her because she didn't want anybody to know that we had messed around because she is a lesbian.
Right, I get that,
and we were just friends, so we didn't want to make.
I get
it wasn't really
but
a big deal. It wasn't really a big deal.
That incident, and the fact that you brought it up, unprompted, on a live stream, I think that
I didn't really think it was that big of a deal at the time.
But I didn't know about it. Yeah, and it's just, and I was like, holy crap! And we'd been together a long time at that. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know about that. Yeah, and so like that prompted this whole
eroticized
what the fuck else are you lying about? And I think I got mad about it for a while because like what the fuck else have you lied about after all this time?
Gia was a really
she's awesome,
really cute lesbian girl.
She's beautiful. She's
and she'd hang out with
She is super cool. She's super cool. Yeah. But like I said, the only reason I was mad, I wouldn't like that's dumb to be mad at something that you did before we were going out. Like I'm not mad about that. I was just mad because y'all had hung out without me after me and you were a couple. Okay. And you hadn't told me.
Okay. Well,
and I was just kind of like, well, that's what made me
look at it this way. Before me and you were a thing, I knew the dudes you were dating. Okay? I liked those guys. I thought they were cool. Had you hung out with them after me and you were a thing, I wouldn't have had any problem with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It didn't work out like that, though.
What's that?
It didn't work out like that, though.
What didn't work out like that?
I wouldn't have hung out with them.
No, if you want, but
maybe, but
if you want to, I wouldn't have minded.
But
you'd have been on the honor system.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? We weren't married either.
True.
And you know what I mean? And I came from a background of kind of like being in open kind of relationships. Sure. And also
just hypothetically, though.
Just hypothetically. Threesomes and shit. I was just
hypothetically, though.
Kind of used to that.
Like, if the dude that I had dated before you, Mike, like, if he had said, like, after we were going out, like, a couple years into it. Yeah. For example. Yeah. Like, if he had said, just me and you. Yeah. Let's go to dinner. I would have said no, because that would have been weird.
Yeah, I think
I would have thought that would have been weird. So I would have said no.
Yeah. Because I said, I went out, I wouldn't have had a problem with it.
But I would have thought that was weird.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I would have thought, I would have thought it was weird that he asked me.
Well, it would depend on what the reason was.
And
it would depend on what the reason was.
Well, the fact that
you know
he asked me would have been sus. He wouldn't do that because he's not that type of dude. But it's like if he had, I would have thought that was suspicious.
Okay.
And it's like even if he had asked me, I would have said no.
Yeah.
Like because I would have thought that would be strange.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So I don't know. I just thought I would have thought that would be strange.
I can understand. That's your choice. I mean, but also look at all the friends that we know that are couples and they go out with other people.
They do, but
and then some of them go to clubs without the other one.
Yeah, but
some of them are basically dating other people. They don't ever have sex, but they kind of date other people when all
yeah. But to me, that seems a little weird.
I think it is. I can understand
weird.
How you think it's kind of weird, or
weird.
It could just be totally harmless. It depends on how you want to read into it.
It is weird.
It might just be totally harmless, so they're just friends.
Yeah.
You know, I never would stop a girlfriend or a wife from having friends.
No, I know, and I would never stop you from having friends.
Because look, I have female friends.
I know you do.
So you know what I mean. It's like,
I know your female friends, and I like your female friends. They are my friends also.
That's what I'm saying. Well,
and I don't distrust you. I would not mistrust. Like if you said, "Hey, I want to go out with X friend or whatever," I would say okay, but it would still be a little bit weird.
Now here's the thing. Just for some people listening. The one ex that she had. That I was actually thinking about at the time. I liked the dude. I thought he was super cool and hang out with him all the time. If he wanted to hang out with her and go do something and it was like a plausible reason why, I would go guys, have a good time. You know what I mean? And
I wouldn't
it would be kind of like the honor in this is back before we were married. I just had her on the damn honor system, you know what I mean?
Well,
you can't stop a woman from giving it away if she wants to give it away. You can't control it.
And I never did. I would never
fucking think about that.
It never occurred to me.
I never fucking think about that. So because if a woman wants to do it, she's going to do it no matter what. So I don't fucking worry about it. If she does it and you don't like it and you catch it, you don't like it, then you can deal with it. You can break up with her. You know what I mean? But I never fucking worried about that ever. That was never the central part of fucking me worrying about if some chick's gonna fucking cheat on me or not. Because only worried, scared motherfuckers would think that way. Controlling kind of guys think that way. If you trust her, you don't trust her. You know what I mean? If you trust her, you trust her. If she does something and you're not there and it fucks up your relationship, you couldn't have stopped it.
Right.
If she fucking does something and then
you can't stop it, that's another person.
You can't. If she does something and it doesn't fuck up your relationship and you don't know about it, that's really there's nothing you can do about that either. So the best fucking answer to all this is don't worry about it, man.
Don't worry about it.
You don't worry about it. If you love someone, set them free. If they want to fuck somebody else and leave, they're going to do that. You don't own that. You don't own them. Right. Even when you're married,
if they run off and fuck another person,
you can't do anything about it.
You couldn't have prevented it.
You couldn't have prevented it. Right.
Two, you have to realize, how do I want to deal with this situation now that it's happened? You know what I mean? The thing about it is that, one, if that dude had asked me once we were together, hey, you want to go out to dinner one-on-one? Yeah. I'd have probably said no. I'd be like, no, that's weird.
Right. I'm the same way because Melissa would ask me out all the time.
Yeah,
and I go, nah, I can't do that.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
And she's like, what are you talking about?
But even if I did go,
Jen. She goes, oh no, just you.
Even if I did go, nothing would happen.
Right. I'm gonna go to the restroom. Look, should we shut this shit down?
In a minute.
It's getting late.
I'm still talking.
I know that, but when this show been going a long time, I'm starting to get hungry. I wouldn't mind going to a Circle K and getting some microwave food.
You're going to get some microwave food.
Yeah, they're going to eat it all up. I know how they are.
They're not going to eat it. You never know what's up there.
John says danger is arousing. Yeah, it is.
It is. I get that, which is why I like doing shit outside and like all that stuff.
Zach says he's half asleep. He's barely understanding any of this.
Oh my God. Yeah. But still, it's just kind of like, I don't know. Yeah. I have kind of like my own honor code. He knows that I would never ever do anything behind his back ever. I would hope that he would do the same for me. I'm pretty much sure that he would never do that. But it's just kind of like, if some dude that I used to date, even if I liked them, they were like, hey, let's just me and you, like, go get dinner, I'd be like, yeah, no, that seems kind of weird. You know what I mean? Because he has had that happen where, like, a mutual friend of ours, who I also like, asked him to, like, come out with her, and he said, no, like, I have a girlfriend. This was before we got married. Oh, well, no, just you. And he's like, yeah, no. Like, because he thought that was weird. It's weird, right? It's weird. So, I don't know. I don't think that's prudish or anything like that. I just think it's just kind of weird. If we're all going out together, or if, like I said, even if that did happen, which it never would, nothing would happen because, I don't know. I'm just not that kind of person. I'm not that kind of person. Like I said, if we're going to fuck other people, it's going to be when everyone's there and can watch what's happening. You know what I mean? What's the fun in just sneaking off? You know? You can't see any of that shit. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, so, alright. So we're going to, I'm going to wait till he comes back. And then we'll wrap it up for the evening. Cyquest is laughing at me. I do agree that danger is arousing. I do agree. But Oscar says, give us some examples.
Who what?
Oscar says, give us some examples.
Examples of what?
I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Look, let's go. Let's go, man.
He's like,
let's go.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up for this evening. I didn't realize that I'd gotten this late. I was having a good time. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the show tonight. I don't even remember what the fuck we talked about.
Yeah, we just get drunk fucking talking to everybody.
That's okay. It's Friday. Yeah. It's Friday.
We got some super chats too. Thank you very much for your super chats.
Thank
Probably
you
maybe like
very
$30
much.
on this one, $25, something like that.
We'll be back on Monday.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about, are we going to do Motel Hell?
Yeah, let's do Motel Hell.
We're going to do Motel
Let's do
Hell on Monday. We decided.
Yeah.
Because somebody brought it up on Wednesday.
I brought it up.
You brought it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, we haven't done that
haven't done it,
movie.
right.
And we probably should. So we're going to do Motel Hell on Monday. So if you want to watch it ahead of time, you can do that over the weekend. So, yeah. So that's the movie review we're going to do. Hopefully you guys had a good time tonight. Thank you very much for dropping by. Thank you for your super chats. And we are going to wrap it up for this evening. Have a good weekend. We will see you guys again on Monday night. Good night.